Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Giuseppe Montesano, Jimmy Eats Soup, Mitch Kennedy, Original D-Rose, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Endless, Goldie McKinnon, Retro Bill, More Books, Bogey, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Maria Neeland, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Tina Baker, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
No speed or no movement. There would be no difference.
Right. Yep.
But the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, they say that the density gradient is a consequence of upward moving Earth. Then when they have the bottle of water in freefall, it should still have the most dense items at the bottom, even if the Earth was moving up, but it doesn't. So it's like a counter argument. That's what I don't understand.
Good morning.
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 Can I get a show number for today's show since I've been gone?
1933.
Welcome back, Deb.
Thank you. 1933. Thank you, Nathan. I got a video for you unless you already have one.
I've already lined it up. Thank you.
Okay.
Fox, right?
Yeah, I got two comments from people who saw it also posted.
Mm-hmm.
How's the computer working?
Yeah, good. A bit of software glitches because I had to reinstall Windows, so I'm now back to like as if I've got a brand new computer. Oh, that's D Rose interrupting this conversation.
Good morning.
Hello, D Rose.
Good morning.
Yes, it's good. It's just got some software niggles because I've had to reinstall Windows 10. Which... Now it's Neil.
Mike Jack.
Hello,
I'm
Neil.
still waiting for that. I'm still waiting for you to prove that positive claim, Nathan, on that unicornity. I'm waiting. We all
In the
waiting.
Bible.
I don't have to prove anything, son. You need to prove the non-unicornity.
10th already said it's rhinos, it's not unicorns.
It's actually a beast with a horn, but if you want to make it into a mythological character animal, go ahead if you'd like to.
Thank you. Exactly. It says nothing about it resembles a horse or it has hoofs or whatever like that. It just gives you a horned beast.
I don't want to
Horns of
hear
the
it, D-Rose.
unicorn.
Look, I'm going to expose you. Your lack of ability to prove non-unicorns is going to get exposed, Sunshine. You better get to proving it, the non-existence of unicorns.
You
Don't
gotta
worry
say
about
that, say that
hang
with
on.
say that with a Scottish accent, though. It'd be funnier.
Hang on.
Put it point it is no unicorn.
Don't be too hard on D-Rose. He's just horsing around.
I knew that was coming.
Explosion, man.
Yeah, other than that, when I stress test it, I do heat the case up quite a lot, and at a certain point, the RAM did become unstable. As I'd experienced previously, it was like the first thing that went unstable. And in this instance, I've just taken out two sticks. Well, actually completely replaced two sticks with almost identical RAM because they'd knackered themselves out through heat. Anyway, those two new sticks have just been set to their XMP profile fast, and therefore they do generate a fair bit of heat. And if the case heats up, they do become a little bit unstable. So I just turn the fans up a little bit, as there are fans in there. Easy problem to solve. So I did today, and I'm like, oh, I'll solve that problem. And yeah, since the hardware changes though, which is when you last spoke to me about this, there's been no major show collapses. In other words, the computer hasn't fallen over completely at all since the hardware changes.
Oh, don't talk
on the software, weren't you trying to do Windows 11, but that didn't work out, so you're back to Windows 10, am I right?
No, just the Windows 11 that was on there become corrupted because it kept crashing because of all the hardware failures, which eventually meant that a couple of days ago or whatever, I reinstalled Windows 11 over the top of the install that was there, and that did resolve a few problems, but generated a few new ones, as it does when you put a new Windows install on a PC. It has to resolve a few things here and there. Anyway, I've done that now, and like I say, there's just a few little niggles here and there. Other than that, it's
so
brilliant.
we're not at 100% then.
I mean, like any new computer, I've just explained this, Neil.
Talk to me when we're at 100%.
What do you want me to
Otherwise,
say? What do you want me
get
to
my
say?
hopes up and then a crash. Get my hopes up and then a crash.
What do you want me to say, Neil?
You know what I'm told? Fix my flaw. Turn my AC on. I don't want to hear the compressor went. I want to hear a new compressor in there and it's running at 100%.
But whatever you do, Neil, don't work in the stock exchange. You get your hopes high, and then it crashes. You get your hopes high, and then it crashes.
How's your son's computer? Is it working now?
My son's, yeah, thanks to Paul. He got it was just something with Windows, I think.
All right.
But
I sound familiar then. Bloody hellfire.
Well, you setting me up just now. I'm going on no sleep for the last 2 days, so that's my excuse for anything I do today.
Right, my point is that, like with anybody, Windows is niggly, especially when you first install it. That's where I'm at. However, up until now, I've had 9 months of hardware failure and overheating. Well, now I don't have any particular overheating other than the RAM. If I stress test it, which is to say put everything under 100% load for an hour, then I get some instability. Not really that big a deal, but it'd be nice to just know under all circumstances it's stable, as it can be, and I've learned how to bloody do it now. So I'm just doing that.
Nathan, how'd you miss that moment there? I mean, Neil gave us a scaling number. Don't hold him responsible for anything he does today because he hasn't slept for 2 days. So what about the past? Can we use this as a basis?
No, I'm never wrong in the past. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always right. No, really, that's sleep deprivation. And I just had to climb up a long ladder. And I was saying, maybe I shouldn't go up there because I haven't slept yet. I did carpet work last night, but I went up. I did it. I just was real careful. But yeah, maybe this will be the last week. Never know. Might have enough to finally get a car and go home.
Keep at it, Neil. You'll get through it.
I'll tell you when it's done, though. It's absence makes the heart grow fonder because I don't know. Me and my wife are like we're dating again. We're like so excited, can't wait to see each other. So, you know.
Oh, that's so cool.
It wasn't called for an awe.
Hey man, you talking about a man that's married to? I know what you.
Hang on, he's got an awe value, not an R value.
Aw.
Any evidence of awe?
Man, my heart's going fonder. All righty then. Who's in Discord?
Hey,
I
Ted,
want to know if
can
y'all
ask
proven
you a question?
unicornity.
It's a new brand of popcorn.
The state of unicorns not existing. I want to know if y'all proven unicornity.
Who's making a claim?
You are, if you're saying unicorns don't exist. You're making a positive claim of unicorn.
No, I said that the Bible refers to the beast with a horn, but doesn't say it's the mythical unicorn. That's what I said.
I like how you're all having fun with the proven non-existence fallacy. It's good fun.
See, that's why I call it unicornity instead of asking you to prove that unicorns don't exist. Then if I say unicornity, which means non-existent unicorns, then it's not proving non-existence.
So I see where you're going with this unicornity. I've been gone for a while, enjoying nature. And in nature, I saw elk, deer, badger, bison, osprey, hawk, fish, but no unicornity.
Hassenpfeffer?
Yeah, exactly. Prove your unicornity. Because unicorns are obviously out there somewhere. We just haven't seen them yet. And you're saying they don't exist. When you claim unicornity, you're essentially making that positive claim that they don't exist and they're not out there and we wouldn't discover them. So, get to proving it 10th. It's an outrage, really, that you sat there not proving that they don't exist.
Okay, I'll go on another vacation and I'll report on the other animals I see. How's that?
That's unreasonable. Show the non-existence of unicorns or else.
Stop with the unicornity. You claim stationary Earth, Nathan.
Well, that's obvious.
Stationary means not moving, correct? Not moving, correct? That's what stationary means, right? Are you seeing the connection? Are you seeing the connection with unicornity now?
Yeah, but I'm going to bring it to what the real deal is. That's what Dell is saying.
It's the real Dell or the real deal?
And I want to go after you, Neil. Go ahead, Neil.
I have to give some context to that. Otherwise, it makes no sense.
All right, well, check.
Too noisy.
Well,
But who's making a claim the Earth is moving?
Everybody's talking about this bollocks at the moment, aren't they? And that's the whole point, isn't it? Right? Adam summed it up right off the bat. We're not talking about demolishing Earth turn, the convolution of Coriolis, space vacuum being fake. We're talking about Dell and his upward rising nonsense.
It was Einstein first, right?
Yeah, depending on how many people Dell's managed to poison with this garbage, will determine how big the fallout and fight while I get interrupted by D-Rose will be as a result of...
already.
Yeah, let's just keep doing it.
I should have my wallet out already.
Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Mic is open, D-Rose. Your wallet's out too.
Well, you're fumbling the ball.
So the fallout will depend on how many people Dell's poison with this nonsense. So, for example, Rachie 00000 YouTube channel has now been fully indoctrinated into this garbage and is prepared to fight for it. Okay? Well, depending on how many others he's managed to achieve the same thing with, will depend on how much damage he causes internally within Flat Earth.
Well, I see it as a good thing, though. I see it as a good thing because it gets the nonsense that these people believe out in the open. So now they are held to their claims. And when we come across it, we said, all right, where's the phenomenon? Show it to us. Well, we don't have one, but we're assuming that this is what's happening. And you throw out a bottle. Okay. How in the world does throwing out a bottle with something in it relate to me living on Earth? So this nonsense that's coming out of these people's mouth exposes them for their belief system or their positions. Just because they started in Flat Earth doesn't mean they end in Flat Earth, or just because they started in Flat Earth doesn't mean that they have the cognitive powers to fight all these other crazy things that come into the subject matter. Whereas we argue all the time here about you need to prove what you're claiming, and if you can't, then obviously it doesn't exist because you can't prove it. And these people are saying something, and then I remember the first time we came to Dell and this subject matter, we said, isn't that what Einstein is saying? So to me, the more we expose Jaron, Whitsitt, Dell, Rachie, the better.
Maybe.
I agree. This is what I wanted to say. Now, like, I watched the Rachie response to this flag, and she's given, they show these demonstrations with the GoPro camera tied to two bottles, with one having a viscous matter liquid and the other one having a less viscous and they're doing all these things to it, and they're throwing it out the windows and shooting it up in the sky and dropping it from a penthouse rooftop. And you got to understand, if Earth is moving, so Earth is the moving object. Therefore, it's equivalent to the vehicle that's moving, the rockets that's moving, the arm that's throwing the bottle out of the window. So in that case, that means while we're sitting still, just like the liquid, the viscous liquid, the bottle, we should be feeling the force. We should be feeling that pressure, force, motion while we're just sitting on the ground having a picnic, while the little child's doing a handstand playing with his friends. They should feel that force. We don't feel it. It's just that simple. We do not feel it.
That's fascinating. You just keep defending that non-claim we don't make. Meanwhile, most people out there are dumb, and where you control the people is control the talking points of the people. Most people aren't analysing the talking points, they're just regurgitating the talking points. And in this instance, the people who are regurgitating the talking points aren't getting it necessarily from social media and the mainstream who want to keep people on a ball. They're getting it from flat earth outlets that they frequent. Please can you mute D-Rose? I didn't just chat through every word you just said, did I? Bloody hellfire. Yeah, just keep doing it.
I didn't say anything.
You've got your mic wide open, for God's sake.
I'm sorry, I moved.
Don't apologise, just close your mic. Why am I having to get frustrated with you? You're on the panel. Of all the people that's not supposed to be pissing me off in the middle of a sentence, it's the people on the panel. Just have some discipline. Bloody hellfire, D-Rose. I'm sick of telling you to shut up while I'm in the middle of a sentence. It's the third time today. Neil, can you have a word with him?
Today? Oh, come on.
Hold on. All right, stop. Listen, I want to say one thing. I think there's a pruning going on. Is that what you're saying, Ten? It's good that this is happening because there's a pruning going on.
Well, it's not. We are not running flat Earth. We are just FED. No one is in charge of flat Earth. As much as Jaron likes to think he is, and he's got to correct us, he's the one being corrected, hanging out with ballers. I don't even want to go into that. But anyway, the point is, let everybody do whatever they're going to do. That's the way it should be. Let everybody do what they're going to do. Have enough content for a millennia.
Do as thou wilt.
Right.
Indeed. No? No one going to pick that up? No, fair enough.
No, it's not that. It's not that Satanist guy do as thou wilt. I'm saying that when you speak, it comes from your heart. So whatever you're saying is coming out of your heart. And so this is why the Bible says, listen more than speak, and control that tongue. When these people are speaking, that tongue is moving fast. And it's like, oh, keep talking, please. Oh, you think that's what's happening? Oh, some more, please. I'll get some coffee, stay up to hear more of this. Because it exposes them for everything who they are. We got all kinds of flat earthers, okay, with different backgrounds. Who cares? We're talking about physics and geometry here. Don't bring your personal stuff in. That muddies the water.
Aleister Crowley.
No, I know who it was.
Know where he lived?
I did my, your neck of the woods.
Down the road from me, yeah. The guy from the computer shop he showed me the house, and he was like, the people who live there have been offered a blue dot. And in the UK, we've got this system where historic places, buildings, things like that get a little blue dot so that you can look it up and see the historic information about it. And obviously that's designated by the council, who have been approaching the house owners currently if they'd like to have a blue dot on their house. They can note the fact that Aleister Crowley lived there. And they're like, no, we don't want a blue dot. We don't want people visiting our house to see the Satanist former home of Aleister Crowley. No, thank you. Can you blame them?
Well, I read once that a former rock and roll group member bought the house. It's not the same people now, is it?
I've no idea the history. Or I do know is where it's located and that the homeowners don't want a blue dot on it. That's about all I know about it.
Yeah, really. Come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, let everyone speak their mind, and then we can say, all right, hey, maybe we're going to learn something, right? Well, maybe someone's going to put together a claim that can be proven, And we're going to learn something and thank them. I mean, this is why it needs to be open and free and let everybody say what they got to say. I'm not worried about who's going to get hoodwinked or not hoodwinked.
Sure,
You
but the
can't
majority
control how
will.
someone thinks.
The majority will be hoodwinked, regardless of if they found their way to flat Earth or not. The majority do rely on a consensus viewpoint to form their opinions, and unfortunately, the dumbed-down masses are manipulatable, have been manipulated, and are capable of being manipulated in the same exact way. When John was discussing how the people who are saddening to witness them fall for the exact same fallacy a second time, we're witnessing it now within our own arena. Now, again, if you can control the talking points of that group, then that group will potentially destroy itself from within, if there's enough controversy and dissemination amongst the ranks. And that's what's going on currently. Meanwhile, we as an individual part of this collective group are being condemned left and right as not worthy of people's attention. Now, if that's the consensus within Flat Earth, FED bad, as Neil puts it, then people will pay attention to that. Why? Because they're dumb. Sorry, if you listen to this and you're on the fence going, well, I have heard from several people that for FED bad. Here we go again. Yeah, fucking another interruption. It's going to be one of those days. I've already got a massive headache.
No, that was me, Nathan. But that's what we want. We want that filter, Nathan.
Do we?
Want that filter.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
do.
I don't. No, I would like more numbers. I'm a YouTuber.
No, that's the way to more numbers, is what I'm saying. Obviously, I want you to have more numbers. Don't think otherwise. But the way you have more numbers is to stand out among the mess.
Maybe, but there's a group dynamic and a group mentality in society, generally speaking, that would preclude that if we are being FED bad.
Well, you're right about the group and what we see in life on many subject matters. We all can see what you're saying is right. But at the same time, there are a lot of people out there. And out of this bunch of people, billions of people, there's enough for this show. And we need to stand out against all the rest of them with the silly claims. Just keep going on the road you're going.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with a single word you say. I'm just laying out the reality of the groupthink mentality that people have left and haven't necessarily relinquished. The same applies to the proof mentality that they've left but haven't relinquished in terms of the standards. Well, those things are beyond our means to alter, and that mechanism is going to be exploited and currently is being exploited from multiple angles to suppress us from within. In other words, it's not enough that we just sit at the bottom of the lists. People are inclined to share our information. However, people are fickle. In other words, once they're amongst 2 or 3 of the other opposing flat earthers, which is what they've now become, telling them FED bad, there's going to be a certain amount of that does stick with them, and it will have an effect on me, and is. So regardless of you saying, well, we're going to prune the wheat from the chaff, or however you put it, however you want to put it, metaphorically speaking, it doesn't alter the fact that it's not just enough to just keep us at the bottom of the lists. There's more needs doing. I'm smiling while I'm saying this because I've got my flat earth hat on while I smile. With my YouTube hat on, I frown. You know what I mean?
Well, let me make you smile more. Why would anyone spend time on a show at the bottom of the list unless that show is over the target? That's why you're going to bust through this, but it's got to go through this. So we're going to have more of this. It's going to be a heavy weight, as it seems, but it's not that heavy. It's all the clowns. It's all the people out there who are against the bottom of the show, us. But why would you spend time on something that's nothing?
If this was a movie,
it's over the target.
This would be the cut to a montage scene, 60 seconds to 2 minutes of seemingly hard work, me fiddling with computer hardware, me in front of a camera, you guys chatting, few baller conversations, some uplifting music that increases in pace, and then 2 minutes later, 1 million viewers.
You don't think it's going to happen? You're going to hit 1 million viewers. You just watch. People who have been in this state of mind come out one truth at a time.
Going to take a montage. In Team America.
Listen.
Gonna take a montage. No?
Okay, forget it.
Go on, Neil. You're on the ladder. Hurry up.
Sorry, my bad, Neil. The middle of my sentence interrupted the start of yours. You're right to be annoyed about that.
No, it didn't. Did not. I waited for you to stop. I'm sick of getting blamed for things that I don't do. You
Did you not
blame
just hear me
when
shouting at
anybody's
D
mic
Rose?
is open. Yeah, I was surprised you didn't say Neil. But listen, if there was a room, say there's a whole flat Earth convention,
It wasn't.
and everybody was there, right? Nathan is going to come in and he's going to get a glare. Rich is going to come in and everybody's going to get giddy. And meanwhile, the guy is saying that he doesn't agree with the horizontal baseline argument. That is not even an argument. This is where we're at right now.
Right. So
Wow. Is that really what they're saying? No way. You're telling me they're decrying the horizontal baseline acquisition that is needed for celestial navigation that's demonstrable. They're denying it. You're kidding me, right?
No, what's it? Eli came on the other day and told us that's what Richard said. He believes with some. He could get behind some
These
parts
people are
of the
just
argument.
dumb. Okay. Well, what that is you're decrying our ether argument. Well, we'll decry your baseline argument. That's what that is. Absolutely.
That's what I
pathetic.
heard. That's what I heard. Exactly.
that's fine. That's fine. Look how many people are following the globe. The same thing's going to happen in the flat Earth so-called collective. There's going to be people going after this personality more than somebody else. Let it happen. Who cares?
I care. I want subscribers and money.
No, it's coming your way if you hold your ground, is what I'm trying to say. And then at the end, they will all be left looking foolish.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I'm really poor.
Well, that's a different story, and we're going to work on that, as you know, so.
I haven't even had a chance to read that book. I feel really bad. My folks keep asking me about it over and over again. I told them foolishly right at the start of the process, and now they're asking me about it all the time. They're like, well, you've sent us a copy and we've read it. What are you going to change in it? And I'm like, I haven't actually read it yet, Mom. Why not? Because I've had a lot of things going wrong and I've just had no time. Really? Well, you need to get on with that. That's very important. Yes, Mom, I'm going to get on with it. Thank you for nagging me about something that is obviously weighing heavy on my soul. I will get around to it. I just haven't had the time. It is the truth. I'm nearly there, though. I'm telling you, I've started to
Windows 11 is behind you. Go on, John.
I was just about to say, I'm starting to regain some of that time. Instead of waking up dealing with computer till I fall asleep, then having limited sleep because I've gone to sleep at 2 or 3 a.m., getting up at 6 to deal with the kids' stuff, and then doing the whole thing again for 10 straight months. I'm starting to not do that anymore. A little bit, but not anywhere near the level that I have been for the last 10 months, which has meant that I've been able to check out a few videos. As soon as the hardware was changed, I was like, you mean I don't have to test that it's going to overheat? I'll edit a few videos with my morning then. So, I'm starting to regain some of my time back and catch up with some of the things that I haven't been doing, which means eventually I will get to actually reading my own book. Anyway.
John was trying to say something.
I'm really sorry, John. I just need to get that out.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was just going to say the elevation angle concession, it's not an argument. It's a concession. They don't like the concession. That's their problem.
Yeah, that's what I said. They think it's an argument. It's not an argument.
You already forgot me?
Good morning.
Man as well, of course.
Whoa. Hang on, we're accelerating upwards.
Was that Jardo? Oh my God, you're already into the polarizing Earth nonsense.
My gosh.
If you want to control the people, just control their talking points. That's the discussion point of the pre-show, at least in my sentiment it was. Anyway, any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge that's a horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Well, if you live on a globe with a radius of 3959, there would have to be one, but it's always below the water surface, and no one's ever seen it.
Right, any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of that presupposed spherical Earth they all haven't proved the R value of?
Well, they got to make up something else once they make up the first thing, so there you go. A molten iron core, a magnetic. How many miles is that super deep hole? 8 miles deep. That's the furthest we've ever dug. And even the PNS waves came back wrong on that one.
Yeah, no evidence of a R value in terms of a physical measurement. Any evidence at all of the R value?
if I could comment on that, see, they go and substitute calculation for measurements, and they interchange them all the time. And they've never done a measurement. They calculate based on something else that hasn't even been proven. Mathematics. It only exists in the maths.
Okay, any evidence?
MC Toon said he measured it just the other day on his
What
debate
did he
with
okay,
Karen.
that'd be interesting to see, given that we've been asking for it for about 5 years. Do you know how his methodology panned out, or are you just going to give us the he showed it, I don't know how?
No, he said it, so it must be true.
Oh, I see. Well, that's a very worthy standard. Anybody know how it is claimed by McToon to be measured? Radial value of Earth as a sphere. That is. I'll take that as a no. Well, maybe we'll find out. Let's just let Arwin in. Okay, let's conclude the housekeeping there. We've done pretty much all the housekeeping questions this week, I believe. Go ahead, D Rose.
Good morning.
Hello.
I missed the show starting because I had put it on mute and went in the corner and went back to what I was doing. Good morning. Missed that part where everybody say good morning. So, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Arwin.
Hello. Thanks for letting me in after all.
Yeah, okay. What do you want? Anyway, we're all here now, and we're going to do a bit of reaction. So, this is called Science Time, and it's a discussion with Professor Brian Cox. Is the universe 26.7 billion years old? Question mark. Brian Cox on the Big Bang. So, give this person the usual at Nathan Oakley 1980 love by going to the link that's going to go by any second now in the live stream chat feed, and just let them know at Nathan Oakley 1980 responded to your video. We thought it was epic, wonderful, fantastic. We really liked it. Let them know.
May I comment before you start?
And give it a little preamble as you picked out this video. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, up until recently, the universe, based on the way they do their calculations, speed of light and all that stuff, was 13 point something billion. But then this James Webb telescope shocked the world. So now they're doubling the age of the universe, just like that. Just like that, they were wrong, and now they're right. So just as a preamble, plus other things in there where he conflates measurements versus calculations.
There you go. You can see it floating on by now in the live stream chat. So let Science Time know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a reasonably pleasant comment that won't hopefully get deleted. And that will hopefully get a response from him if he were to respond to our response to his video. And hopefully share the algorithmic love with us by putting a comment on our video with a link, or comment in his own or whatever in the info box. However he would share our link, hopefully he'd do the same for us.
A space-time singularity. Space and time come to a stop.
Could it be possible that everything we know about the very dawn of existence is wrong? That our understanding of time and...
Yes, because it's not an understanding. It's based on a whole bunch of presuppositions and a heliocentric model given to you by the Roman Catholic Church. So when you say everything we know, what you actually mean is, could it be that our nonsense about heliocentric Big Bang theory is wrong? Well, yeah, it's not a scientific theory.
Space, as birthed in the fiery crucible of the Big Bang, is fundamentally flawed. It's a staggering concept, one that overturns centuries of scientific wisdom.
I know about scientific wisdom. It's overturned by the natural law that is the second law of thermodynamics. No, would it be the first law of thermodynamics that the Big Bang violates? Both. More importantly, the first law of thermodynamics. That would be to say nature can't create its own energy. That's the first law of thermodynamics.
Can you replay the last 4 seconds, please?
Well, what? If you like. 27 seconds in, we're already rewinding it. Okay.
Birthed in the fiery crucible of the Big Bang is fundamentally flawed. It's a staggering concept, one that overturns centuries of scientific wisdom. As new studies hit...
So if you could overturn scientific wisdom, then it was never proven to begin with.
Correct. So The fact that it's being overturned means that it hasn't adhered to the empirical method of science. Therefore, was never science to begin with. Correct. Good call. Worth rewinding. I take it back.
Hint at a universe far older than we ever imagined, we can't help but...
Oh, here we go. Now we're hinting at an older universe. Well, you'll need an R value for Earth that you can't measure. And you'll need that R that can't be measured transposed onto Venus. And then Kepler's Roman Catholic answer for when Easter will be orbital motions. So once you've got all of those things lined up with a whole bunch of presuppositions, then you can tell us how old or far or whatever you're going to scale it with things are in your sky. But that's really all that you're doing. It doesn't give us an actual age of anything. It's absolutely absurd.
But ask, how can such profound questions even arise in the world of cosmology?
Because they've just bullshitted their way through everything they've ever told you. Therefore, it leaves some pretty profound questions when you stack it up against reality.
Yeah, it's about cosmology and about...
Hang on. So when we bring in the citations about astronomy, cosmology, they attack us. And this guy says, how can this even happen in the world of cosmology for us to be wrong?
Exactly. How could we possibly be wrong? We've been telling people how right we are for such a long period of time. And now here it is, profound questions being asked about stuff we all thought was right. How can that be? Yeah, it was all wrong. It was all nonsense. They just made it all up. They looked at little twinkly lights and then gave you a little just so story to go along with it.
The questions that cosmology raises. So
it shouldn't be raising anything. It should be answering them if it's claiming to be a science.
If you're interested in the science of how did the universe begin.
So there we go. It's the science of how... What, so science has now become a question? No, I mean, you're utilising a composition fallacy. You might be asking a question of how something that you observe in nature occurs, but just asking the question doesn't make it the science of your bullshit. Just hijacking this terminology. Tent's already pointed out why. If you're asking these questions, you haven't got any empirical evidence. You haven't adhered to the scientific method. Therefore, you shouldn't be calling it science. But now it's the science of my questions.
Even questions of what may have been there. Is the universe...
What may have been there? No, science establishes the cause of an effect you observe in nature. If the twinkling light in the sky is the effect, then the scientific method can elucidate the cause by way of its methodology being adhered to by you, the researcher, with your genius supposition of what may cause that twinkling light, for you to go forth and vary that which you suppose will cause the effect you're studying in nature, twinkling lights in this example. Well, once you have varied and manipulated that which you assume causes the effect of the twinkling light in the sky, if you induce the effect, that would be to say you cause it by way of your variation, and you can do this repeatedly, systematically, then you have empirically validated that that which you varied caused the twinkling light. That would be empirical scientific evidence by way of experimentation based on a hypothesis. Something that you have never, ever even got close to, Cox.
Eternal. Is there such a thing as before the Big Bang? What is the future of the universe?
Is there a before the nonsensical story that we ascribed by extrapolating out the second law of thermodynamics into a first law of thermodynamics violation? Fascinating questions you've got there, Cox.
How does complexity emerge spontaneously in a universe? I mean, we sort of take it for granted that there's a Big Bang and it's all hot and there's just this kind of hot glow of stuff. And out of that...
Says who? Says what? You rewinding time on Kepler? Go ahead, whoever that was.
He takes it for granted. Right. Yeah. Like everything about heliocentric model, you just take it for granted, right? That's the science. Taking it for granted, the bullshit story.
That spontaneously, in 13.8 billion years, you get something like the Earth with a civilization and life on it. So how does that... Do we know anything about that? I mean, we do.
Do we know anything about it? You've just given us a whole bloody just so story about it. Now you're asking, do we know? I've just told you all about it. It's the whole model and system that it's based on I've just disseminated to you. But do we know? What an outrage.
We know about what we're assuming, right? Do you know something about the assumption that you haven't proven?
Yeah, but we're not. He's not saying that. We are disseminating that after the fact. It's not incorporated into this video now, is it, Arwin?
That's
asking
true.
The question rhetorically. So it's really about showing the size and scale of the universe, but addressing those questions that I think everybody has about what does it mean to be human, this tiny little finite life that we lead in a possibly infinite universe. How do you make...
Yes.
Whoops. Possibly.
Finite light. What?
Well, it's just his speculations are irritating. A possibly infinite universe, he says. All right, why is it only a possibility when you've just declared it as science? These just so stories that lead you to make that declaration are based on your total nonsense that you spew.
He set the stage by saying the complexity. So he's speaking his right now. The way I see it is he's speaking his doubts. So he's mentioning how did all this complexity happen with the Big Bang and blah blah blah. And then now it's like, well, given enough time, then I have to accept it. But he's actually doubting here how complexity is formed from a Big Bang.
There's a Big Bang and it's all hot and there's just this kind of hot glow of stuff. And out of that, spontaneously, in 13.8 billion years, you get something like the Earth with a civilization and life on it. So how does that... Do we know anything about that? I mean, we do. I'm asking the question rhetorically. So it's really about showing the size and scale of the universe, but addressing those questions that I think everybody has about what does it mean to be human?
Oh, you mean the total disconnect? The entropy of the Big Bang eventually leading to the hyper-ordered, self-created life and all that? And the what is it, the Goldilocks zone, all that? Really?
Yeah. Even though no one has proven it's all going to be based on his supposition. None of it proven. He's already got that in place when he's saying he's asking questions about it. It's like, what, asking questions about that which you already have in place?
Human, this tiny little finite life that we lead in a possibly infinite universe.
Yeah, I used to summarise that right at the beginning of finding out Earth was flat. In the heliocentric model, you are a tiny speck of dust in an ever-expanding infinite soup of nothingness. You are basically insignificant. Therefore, anything you do is inconsequential with respect to the universe, its scale, and you within it. So you might as well not exist. You're that insignificant. That's what the heliocentric model offers you.
How do you make sense of that?
Well, I've just disseminated it into the bullshit nonsense that you have as a worldview and how bleak it is. That's what it does.
Traditional scientific wisdom...
Here we go.
...places the age of our universe...
No, you're talking about suppositions that have yet to be proven, that have formed the basis of the dimensions, the size, the scale, the distance, everything. That's not scientific wisdom. What a bloody outrage.
At about 13.7 billion years.
Totally made up.
Following the explosive event we call the Big Bang.
What explosive event we call the Big Bang? You mean the one that we made up? Oh, I see.
Yet, a groundbreaking new study suggests something unimaginable. Our universe could be almost twice as old.
Why is that unimaginable when it's completely arbitrary, based on presuppositions and scaling values? Why would that be unimaginable when you double the distance? I mean, based on Venus, you can give the entire scale of the solar system, but it's got to be scaled within Kepler's third law of nonsense, interplanetary motions of the sky when you observed the twinkling lights and decided to ascribe some order that you put into a convention, in this case Kepler. All right, well, Kepler's orbital motions are assumed in terms of the distance, and in terms of the scale, but not the distance. The way you impose the distance is by using Earth's radius superimposed onto Venus. Then you've got a scale for the motions that are presupposed in orbital type by Kepler. Well, that doesn't make any of it real. It doesn't make it anything outrageous when you double the distances. All you need to do is give something else as the scale. Instead of Earth's presupposed radial value ascribed to Venus in this instance, just use something larger, ascribed to something else, closer, and then you'll have a very different distance. So what? Doesn't mean anything. It's all based within nonsense that was used to predict when Easter would be. That'd be the elliptical motion of the orbits that were also assumed by Kepler.
A mind-boggling 26.7 billion...
Yes, Arwin.
Nathan, maybe it's unimaginable, not because we literally cannot imagine it, but because they really don't want to imagine it, because that turns out it was all wrong after all, again. Like all those previous times where they scaled up, like, say, the distance to the sun. Like, every time they have the scale wrong, that means they had everything wrong. Again, they don't want to imagine that.
Years. Through the keen eye of the formidable James Webb Space Telescope, we observe galaxies forming surprisingly early.
No, we don't. The James Webb Telescope is claimed to be out in the sky vacuum, in orbit. So in the La La Land invented by Kepler of orbital motion, they've claimed to put this La La telescope into an area of volume that gas from the Earth below is not filling. It's a total nonsense. This on screen now is not what was claimed to be built and is called the James Webb Telescope. This is a cartoon, and you won't find any pictures from Narnia with the James Webb Telescope moving around in Narnia in an orbital mode. I mean, I keep saying Narnia. In space, a fake place that doesn't exist, that's been invented. This is what you'll get, because there is no space to put a telescope in. So every single claim from a second law of thermodynamics violation, sky vacuum, the area they claim they're twinkling lights that they're not proving with any scientific validity in terms of what they do and what they are, is located. That second law of thermodynamics violation automatically makes everything claimed about this cartoon fake. Instantly. Shout out to Jadu.
For a minute.
Hold on one sec. Shout out to Jadu. Cox is brilliant. He has not claimed anything. He's just narrating a story and giving expressions via questions to the audience. Yeah. They don't know that, though, do they, Jadu? We were here to point that out. Well done for doing so. Thank you for the super chat.
That last statement is important because they're going to always go to, well, maybe in these multiverses, there's different laws of physics. But what just happened is that we have our natural law. We know how we function here. So it's not happening here, but then they take a leap and saying, oh, there's these multiverses, and they might even have different laws of physics, which is an admission that we have laws of physics here that they're not abiding by.
Right, we're not even 20 minutes in, over 80 people watching. Woohoo! Please share the show. Very warm welcome to all of you who've just joined us, presumably because you clicked on a link from one of the regulars who always shares the show early on, because we definitely don't get the algorithmic love from YouTube, hence me begging for algorithmic love from our opponents who we react to. But I'm very pleased you're all here, so please share the show if you've only just got here. And as I say, thank you for being here, clicking on those links that have already gone out. Thank you to all of you who shared them already. Really, really appreciate it. Also, another quick shout out to Jardo, again, who's just gifted a load of memberships. So I'm sure, however YouTube figure out how to give these memberships out, they will be divvied out immediately, and they are. So if you've picked up a free membership, shout out to you, Rachie00000 YouTube channel, who's just picked up a free membership from Jardo. You had a fairly lengthy discussion. Was it Rachie that got discussed in the pre-show? Little bit of you got discussed in the pre-show. Not much, Rachie, but a little bit. Anyway, people just can't stop talking about the upward rising Earth. I can tell by your excitement level and every one of my panel's excitement level for this subject matter that it's very, very enticing. So there we go. Glad to have you as a member.
Can I get a mic check? Mic check?
No, you cannot. Why would you want such a thing?
I don't know. Thanks.
What's up, Joe?
A mere 300 million years after the Big Bang, their unexpected maturity and mass stir profound mysteries. These early galaxies are oddly small, a puzzle that defies our existing cosmological understanding.
With a quick shout out to Elvis Kavovic. Arwin is the ace. No. Just Arwin is ace. That's both true and grammatically correct. But thank you for the super chat, Elvis.
But could there be a radical reinterpretation of the redshift theory?
Not a scientific theory. Theories are based on the outcome of what I detailed earlier. Observe natural phenomena, suppose a cause, vary the cause, see if it causes the phenomena. If it does, you've got empirically validated scientific evidence. With that empirically validated scientific evidence, you can form a theory. It comes after the experiment. They, again, hijack the terminology to lend credence to their nonsense.
By considering this as a hybrid effect, not merely due to...
Considering it? No, we'd have empirical evidence for it if it was what you just described it as.
Cosmic expansion, it might be...
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, well, everyone. Hey, Nathan. Yeah, the Big Bang is only just over 100 years old.
Who's it? Lemaitre? Is it Lemaitre that came up with the Big Bang?
Yeah. Yeah, that only turned up there 100 plus years ago. Yeah. So I don't know what they're on about with our 300 billion or whatever.
But shockingly, it might be double that, Brian. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I can't quite believe it.
It could be 200 years.
In another 100 years, it might be triple. Can't quite believe it.
Possible to extend the time frame for these early galaxies' formation. What if we took into account evolving coupling constants a notion that first emerged from the annals of theoretical physics. What if our concept of the cosmological constant...
Again, using this terminology, theoretical physics. Yeah, what? Bullshit pseudoscience is what I might as well say. No, if you've got theory, it's come after scientific experimentation. If it's physics, it's the study of the physical and natural world. And in terms of figuring out what is going on with things, that would be exclusively the scientific method. So physics is the scientific method in the most crude way I can sum it up. Whereas when he says theoretical physics, he means nonsense made-up stories ascribed to pseudoscience pretender clowns who love to hijack the terminology of empirical methodology. Go ahead.
The first go around of theoretical physics made it 13.7 billion. The second go around is over 26 billion. So just keep the story going.
Exactly. Well put. Nice summary and example within this contextual video.
Was not just about dark energy fueling the universe's expansion.
Was it not? How old's dark energy, Brian? About 30 years or something.
What if it also reflected the evolution of coupling constants?
Evolution? What's that?
Potentially solving the riddle of the small early galaxies. In this universe of new...
They've not got answers for you, ladies and gentlemen. They've got riddles that they need to solve after they've given you their story.
Theories and radical reinterpretations...
Not theories. No.
We ask, could our cosmos have an ageless...
Oh, he's got a little info box thing saying, hey, share my video. Come and like and subscribe. Yeah, man, I totally agree. I mean, it's reasonably good that you got 70,000 views on this video. I mean, I might struggle to hit 1,000 on this live stream. Really pleased that there's 85 people watching. Obviously, I've just encouraged them all to share the show. But I'm going to share your show. You know, counterintuitive as that may be, in the vain hope that somebody who gets this treatment, which you all do, would do the same for me and stick my link in their video so that we get some of the algorithmic love to get us to 70,000 views on a video where we take apart your theoretical physics. Links going by the chat.
Just
let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me.
Beginning to comprehend. Could the universe be eternal?
And you get this picture of a vast and possibly infinite universe. We know that the universe, or very strongly suspect that the universe is much bigger than the piece we can see. So we have...
We know. No! We kind of suspect that we know the size of the universe. Let's just hear that again. That is about as Weasley as it gets.
And you get this picture of a vast and possibly infinite universe. We know that the universe, or very strongly suspect that the...
We know. I mean, well, we very strongly suspect. I don't strongly suspect that Earth is navigated flat. I know Earth is navigated flat. I know this to be certain. It is a fact. I don't strongly suspect that it's navigated flat. That sounds very Weasley, Cox. Very Weasley indeed.
The universe is much bigger than the piece we can see. So
no, you have no idea the size. Kepler nonsense with its scale has been debunked about 10 minutes ago.
We have good reason to think that's the case.
Good reason? No, I've just taken away that good reason.
Whether it's infinite or not is another question.
Why would you be asking questions if you already know the size?
Can you picture infinity? Well, no one can picture infinity.
That's because it's a mathematical concept that we derived.
You know, we say the universe
doesn't
began...
even exist in maths.
Yeah, it's not a quantifiable thing, is it?
No, it's not real. They say that. Any mathematician worth their salt would say that it's not possible.
But you can't imagine it, Brian, so obviously lives with some questions about the heliocentric Big Bang narrative.
Began 13.8 billion years ago. So that's a measurement. So
no, it isn't a measurement. It's an extrapolate. You go ahead, Brian. You've got a much better patter on this one.
Mathematics. That's what it is, isn't it?
It was based on a whole load of presuppositions and assumptions, is what I was hoping you would now rattle off.
Oh yeah. It's based on well, it all starts and ends with their distance to the sun, which is based on 4 pre-assumptions and 2 averages. So.
And what are they?
So where do you go from there? And then basically it's all based on
everyone stop interrupting
size.
Brian. I just want to hear Brian going through the 4 presuppositions for the audience who are sharing the show currently.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brian.
The first pre-assumption is that we're on a globe. The second one, that it has a radius of 3,959 miles. The third one was that the globe rotated around the sun, orbited around the sun. And the fourth one was that the sun was also a sphere of a particular radius based on its angular size. The two averages was the average radio of the globe, it's polar and equatorial, and the second average was the average distance between the globe Earth and its heliocentric sun via its orbit over a 12-month period.
Perfect. Thank you, Brian. Absolutely epic. Indeedy. Well, Cox has just declared this as a measurement. No, Cox. No.
Because we can measure the speed that all
really?
the galaxies are flying away from us, essentially.
No, you can't. No, Brian. No.
Essentially. And then you can run time backwards, if you like.
Okay. I like.
Oh, Lord.
I like-y. Okay. I like. Show. I like to do this. I want to run time backwards. Yeah? I mean, actually, that's not true. Strictly speaking, I'm very content with my life, no regrets. I've got nothing I would want to change. I'm being absolutely sincere. Even the bad things that have happened in my life, I wouldn't want to go back and change. Does anybody else feel that way at this point? I always assess it with if I was run over by a bus today, would I be like, oh my God, I didn't get to write that wrong. I didn't get to do that thing. I don't have that feeling. I don't know about any of you. Anybody want to rewind time to change some wrong that they've done?
I would like to be taller and play. I would like to be.
Hold on, D Rose goes first. Go ahead, D.
I would like to be about 6 inches taller.
A time machine won't help you with that. More carrots when you were younger. Won't help.
I mean, maybe go back where I lived in South Carolina and stay down there and play football, instead of going back up to New York. That's the only thing. Other than that, I love
unless you went back to when you were in your late teens and stuck you on a rack, which may have only been temporarily fixed anyway. But I don't think you're ever going to become taller. That was a terrible example, D.
Okay, sorry.
That was a
I got
stretch.
some regrets that I'd like to go back and change.
Sorry, let's hear from the ex-convict in regards to his wanting to change things. Go ahead, Neil.
Exactly. I got some regrets. I wouldn't mind changing those.
Tim said that was a stretch. Welcome back to Mr.
Well, without...
yeah, I'd go back and change. I'd change a lot of things. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is bloody morose. I wasn't expecting this. I was hoping for an uplifting response from, oh no, no regrets. Life is sweet. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, but if you would go back in time, would you also then take the wisdom you got from going into time with you?
Yes.
Is that even possible?
Yes, I think in Brian Cox's paradigm, because he's working in a fourth-dimensional pseudo-Riemannian space-time that can be bent back upon itself, you're still moving through the geodesic in space-time forward, even though technically speaking it's bent back on itself in the time dimension. Now, if the time dimension's bent back on itself, then you would be going back in time in Einsteinian fourth-dimensional pseudo-Riemannian space-time conceptual mediums of time geometry that allows that. Therefore, you would still retain, obviously, the experience that you'd happen to then. You're just moving forward through the time dimension, but back to a point that already existed. Obviously, that's nonsense. Obviously, it's not true, but within the paradigm, yes, Arwin, you would still have your memories.
Yeah, but if you're going back, then how did you attain the knowledge that you're giving when you're not going to develop like that
Okay, let's just
anymore?
put it this way. Let me just answer Arwin first. Let me just answer Arwin. You're right. Arwin is strictly speaking correct even within a paradigm, right? Because you would grandfather paradox out of existence your own memories, is what Arwin's saying. And he is correct. It was the same criticism I put yesterday. So I can't really now go back on that because he's correct. However, if you imagine the bit... However, if you imagine you're in the DeLorean and you go back and then you come back and something's changed, like it's a Lone Pine Mall rather than the Twin Pines Mall, you still remember that it used to be Twin Pines because you've gone through the geodesic in the plot of that movie. So I'm just going to infer that however it needed to be written into the narrative of heliocentrism that you wouldn't grandfather paradox out of existence your own memories, I'm going to say that you retain them. Hope that's good enough.
Just remember, it's only based on the
solution.
Hold on, just let Arwin round up. Hold on, Ted. Hold on.
The Marvel movie.
I just want to hear the last words from Arwin. It was his point we've just discussed. Just let Arwin say it again without rumpusing him. Go ahead, Arwin.
Well, that sounds awfully like a movie solution. It's like, yeah, if we do that, we wouldn't have a movie. So we'll just assume that that works that way.
But that is what heliocentrism in essence is, isn't it? I mean, we're brainwashed into the notions via the movies and television. Literally, NASA is just a playhouse. Well, based on that being the ideal, as that picture of a green screen astronaut flashes up, perfect timing. I like my new reel too. But based on that suspension of disbelief that we often discuss, Arwin, right? So yeah, you're correct more than you think you are correct, because without the suspension of disbelief of the movies that give us the idea that there are spacemen flying around in an orbital motion, none of it would be there to disagree with or to question in the first place, would it?
Exactly.
I was going to say, he's basing all this on the speed of light.
Shout out to Daniel Samenigo. Hopefully I've said your name right, probably not. Gifted out 5 memberships, so pick up those memberships, including Roofy. Hey, nice to have you, Roofy. I understand it to be the case that you get these memberships based on the amount of viewership you have. So it's nice that you're a regular viewer, Roofy. Really pleased to have you as a member.
Oh, that's sneaked up. So he's secretly watching, and because
I don't know that's true. I have not verified that that is the case. I heard on the grapevine that the memberships are divvied out automatically based on viewership time. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Let's just move on.
To find out when they were all on top of each other. And so it's quite a simple measurement, and we've done that. So we say the universe began 13.8 billion years ago. But actually, all we know really was the universe was very hot and very dense at that time.
Yeah, you can tell us that you've measured it only 30 seconds earlier.
Then we have some theories that the universe was...
All right, and some measurements. No, just some theories hijacking the scientific validity.
...in existence before that, and perhaps some sort of circumstantial evidence. And that means that...
Oh, well, that's the best kind. Right, that, as opposed to empirically validated evidence. I mean, circumstantial is almost as good as empirical, isn't it? They're basically the same thing, right?
That actually the universe could have always been there.
Could have. I love this. Everything they say is peppered with weasel words.
Eternal. When I talk to people sometimes, they get a bit... Some people get upset about that. Some people would rather...
Hey, I'm laughing about it, Cox. Isn't that amusing how our reaction's so very different to yours? With your nihilistic, bleak outlook about your ever-expanding soup of nothingness that you're a speck of dust within.
It had a beginning. The idea that it might have been around forever is more frightening somehow than the fact that it began. It's interesting the way that people's minds work.
It is interesting, and we could easily lean on that. I mean, again, this was discussed in the pre-show in terms of the people's desire to have answers and how they are easily misled by the collective narrative, the consensus viewpoint. Even if it's within a fringe community like Flat Earth, it's very easy to get a consensus viewpoint going. In this case, FED bad. My point being that at this point, we could easily branch off in terms of our speculation, couldn't we? Right? We could start giving you our ideas about what we think it might be. Just pepper it with a few little weasel words. And we're away. And people would love us for it. Love us! Go away and defend this nonsense on our behalf. And if people come along and disagree with the nonsense, I mean, that might cause some dissemination within the ranks. Is that right? Dissemination? The right word? Dissension. I keep getting that wrong. Some dissension within the ranks of the community we know as Flat Earth. But, I mean, ultimately, we're right about our speculations, aren't we, lads? No, we don't give them here. You ever notice that? When we get to these stages where we could pepper this with our garbage that we've made up? Yeah, we don't do that. Oh, well, maybe Owen does a little bit.
The Big Bang
Theory.
Theory.
But I prefaced it at least.
Yeah, at least Owen prefaces it with it. This is probably nonsense, but it's an idea I'd like you to think about for a second, conceptually. And we do, and then we move on, knowing that it's conceptually interesting to think about such things.
Our prevailing understanding portrays a universe emerging from a singular...
Prevailing understanding? Did you not hear the amount of peppery words that were just filtered through the mouth of Cox when disclaiming how much he didn't know? Yeah, okay. Seems like you just ignored every word he just said.
Singularity, an intense point of infinite density. It proposes a universe with a distinct beginning, evolving over 13.7 billion years. But with these fresh theories and staggering revelations, we're compelled to wonder, could the universe be eternal? This audacious
staggering revelations of things we just made up.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes, indeed. I mean, we could do the same. We won't. But what I will do is juxtapose it with an equally farcical scenario where we do that about Narnia. I mean, the amount of fascinating questions that the high, or maybe low, depends on the day I'm going to give this narrative, oxygen levels in Narnia affect people's thoughts patterns. I mean, you've got to agree that it is fascinating. Plus, the way the gases are homogeneous in Narnia. I mean, that truly is fascinating. It just raises a lot of questions about gas behaviour. But I mean, it is what it is, you know what I mean? Narnia is how it is. You've only got to look through the wardrobe to know that that's how it is.
But despite that, though, I mean, that question that he asked, like, is it infinite? I mean, yeah, you can immediately answer that. No, entropy, like that's not logical. Like, it's a very easily answered question.
Position of a
I want to
26.
see some of these staggering revelations.
If it was eternal, how would we ever arrive to this point?
How would we what, Squirrel?
If the universe was eternal, how would we ever arrive to right now?
I don't know. It's a fascinating question. Anybody else? No.
Well, we would all be there. Like, we'll all become relative, like, because there's no beginning. So yeah, when is it? Who's before what?
Just now.
A billion-year-old universe must still pass the test of rigorous peer review. Our scientific community will carefully scrutinize this claim, juxtaposing it with the existing understanding of our universe's age.
Don't you want to hear the science part?
No, you missed the best part. Peer review. Go back 6 seconds.
I heard.
Yeah.
This has gone through.
Whose
not the
opinion is more
empirical method
important?
of science, but the empirical method of peer review. What, highlighting bits in the book that they don't like the look of as a publisher? I mean, come on. Where's the empiricism of the scientific methodology? Oh, well, it isn't existent in this science because it isn't a science. Go ahead, the rest of you.
They have to undergo rigorous deliberation on whose opinion is the best.
It went under rigorous pondering. Rigorous, I'll tell you. Go ahead, Brian.
Well,
no, that was my point. I was going to say, well, it was rigorous. So that was what I was going to say.
So they argued rigorously.
No, they highlighted rigorously.
It's pretty convenient to just jump to peer review because that puts in some people's minds that it's already gone through scientific validation. So
that's the trick. The trick is my peers looked at it and they agree, or my peers looked at it and they said make a few changes.
Within the framework of Big Bang cosmology, any recalibration in our cosmological model won't be sudden, but a cautious, methodical progression based on empirical data.
No. Empirical data would be data acquired by way of systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis. Your empirical data has just been disclaimed as being contextualized from within the model that moves at a very slow pace as you describe how the changes from within the model will affect what? Our reality? Oh, they have absolutely no bearing on our reality. How slowly the gears of time change our model. Who cares? Doesn't affect anything in physical reality. It's just a model.
As we ponder these questions...
Nathan, let them know that model was pulled out of their butt. That model was pulled out of their butt, literally. It's BS.
Questions.
Well, no, it was back engineered from flat Earth elevation angles.
Well, the back engineered is from the butt, and you can assess the truth.
Exactly.
We're confronted by the sheer magnitude of cosmic time and space. For us humans, evolutionarily attuned to far smaller scales, grasping such enormity...
Evolutionary attuned? So you're ascribing our God-given abilities to detect things to our process of evolution. What's evolution? You need to define some of these terms.
...is daunting. Consider this. There are an estimated 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe.
Galaxies? No, these are concepts that we've invented. Yeah? ascribing these terms to the lights that people observe in the sky is saying, I can count the lights in the sky, therefore I can decide what they are.
The human mind reels at such a number, a testament to the awe-inspiring scale of the cosmos.
The sky. Yeah, the sky is amazing. Absolutely incredible. You have spent many, 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 many days staring at it because it's absolutely beautiful and awe-inspiring. Yeah, I'll agree with that. But what's that you say, cosmos, and your descriptions? No. The heliocentric notions of distance, maybe the numbers, if you counted them, maybe I'd agree with that. But even then, having experienced very, very low light levels, the lower the light, the more your eyes are tuned to the darkness, and the more stars you see. It seems to be it seems to be, as you would describe it, infinite. There's more and more appearing the lower the light level and the more your eyes can see them. So, I wouldn't even agree if you said you counted every one of them. I don't think it's possible.
No scientist can picture that.
Go on.
So you're going to say they didn't count them at all. It's just a calculation. And the observable universe. No. Nobody observed that many stars in the sky. Nobody did that. They might have observed a good few. Didn't observe that many, and they certainly didn't count them. Who observes these? Show me the person who observes these. So someone, me included, could contact this person, say, can you bring me to where I can observe these things? And then they would say, no, I can't, or I won't. Because I don't observe these things, I'm just a liar. That's what would happen.
Even the small number, 200 billion. And then when you say 2 trillion galaxies, I challenge anyone to be able to picture that. But it is the reality that we've observed. You know, we haven't counted all 2 trillion, by the way. We have a thing called the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, which
called it, Brian,
maps the positions of galaxies. So you know how much of the sky you've surveyed, and you know how many galaxies you've counted, and then you can spread that across the wider universe.
Can you? I mean, your maths would be off because you're assuming that you've got a world that's wrapped around you, the sky wrapped around a ball. So your maths are going to be massively off because you have no idea how far the sky expands. Neither do I. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, a galaxy would be an orbiting situation, would it not?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, so you'd have to make sure one of those existed first.
Yeah, have to prove orbital motion first. Exactly. You can't just take it as read that Kepler was right with his made-up story about how the world works based on his observations of the motions of the lights in the sky. That's what he's doing, though.
That the universe might be 26...
Yeah.
Nothing that peer review can't fix.
Brian went through those assumptions earlier, Neil. I love it too.
0.7 billion years old hinges on reinterpreting well-established theories and introducing novel concepts.
So goodbye to the dish and hello.
Not novel concepts. We've got to introduce them to our well-established ideas. Cox has just described how weak these ideas are. You know, all it's built on is a whole bunch of presuppositions that Brian went through. Cox wasn't overt about it. He hinted at it. He left in enough weasel words for us to laugh at. But now we're going to base our knowledge moving forward? No, you haven't got any. You didn't acquire any. She called a load of nonsense stories science when they weren't.
Viewed as an evidence of cosmic expansion, could also reflect energy loss by photons traveling vast cosmic distances. A hybrid...
Yeah, you'll need Kepler's third law validated. You'll need Venus validated as having a spherical R value that's the same as the invalidated by us spherical R value of Earth.
Concept that combines with the tired light theory.
More problems than that, just quickly. What he said energy loss via photons. Like, how did they validate that there is such a thing as this energy loss by photons? How did they validate that happens? Because they wouldn't be able to validate this is the idea if they thought about those massive distances.
Of evolving coupling constants, fundamental constants that govern particle interactions and may have changed over cosmic time. If true, this allows for a greatly extended window for the formation of those early mature galaxies we see.
No, it doesn't allow for a window of any description. You're working outside of your reified model. Yeah, you and what you describe within your model has no bearing on reality. None.
But in the grand cosmic theatre, even more
Not a theatre, you're just talking about the sky. It's only a theatre because you've modelled it.
mind-bending possibilities lie on the horizon.
No, they don't. It just is what it is. Whether or not we understand it and do a good job of describing it is a different matter.
Concepts such as the multiverse
concepts, that's all they are.
Theory suggest our universe might be just...
Good.
Sorry, how can they have energy loss of photons if light has a constant speed within their model? How can light slow down if it has a constant? That's their whole model since the general relativity is based on C, the two-way speed of light calculation. What's
just
known as,
one
known as
among an infinite number.
Space is always expanding. We found that out with the Hubble telescope.
Really?
Where's the Hubble telescope?
That's where you get
that?
redshift from. That's how they determine like how far away a galaxy is, because how deep the redshift is.
He said space. What space?
the heavens above
Stuttering
of glory.
already?
I'm sorry?
What space? Don't you stutter and tell me the heavens.
I didn't stutter.
What space?
The heavens above. What's above your head? Look up. Go outside. Look up.
Okay. And from your description of the heavens above, how can you infer any distances to anything at all?
Well, parallax is one way.
What parallax?
You could bounce radio signals off of the moon. That's,
one at a
that's another
time.
way.
Don't scattergun me. What parallax?
Yes.
What parallax? Third time's the charm.
What parallax?
Yes. That would be to say, you say parallax, I say, what parallax would that be? And then you qualify what you claim we can extrapolate the distances out from. That would be parallax. So for the fourth time, what parallax?
You weren't clear the first.
What parallax? 5 times. What parallax?
So parallax to the closest stars, one being Alpha Centauri.
Okay, do you want to give us the details on that, please?
I don't have the details in front of me.
Well, why not? You're claiming it. So you're telling us there's parallax to Alpha Centauri, but you're not going to back that there's parallax to Alpha Centauri.
I mean, I can get you some
Stuttering much? Not stuttering? No, it sounds like you're stuttering. I just need to see that information, please.
I'm not stuttering. I'm not stuttering.
The second time. I'm not stuttering. I'm not stuttering.
Yeah, that would be...
You just need to go and get this information you've claimed. You've said there's parallax. Go get it. Let's see it.
Oh, I get to present something this time instead of getting graded like that?
It's the 6th time me asking what parallax, and then you need to go and get it. It's that simple. What part of this aren't you understanding?
Well, I mean, that's a little boring.
I'm not stuttering. It's what? Sorry.
So that's a little boring.
Sorry, you keep stuttering. You've told me 3 times that you're not. You are. So when are we going to get this information on parallax, stutterer?
I'm not stuttering. Your connections.
Yeah, you are. You damn well sure you are stuttering while the 3rd person in the row interrupts me from G+. You are stuttering. I'm asking for the 7th time for the information on your parallax claim that will give us distances.
You don't know how parallax works?
No. You've told us there's parallax to Alpha Centauri, and I've asked you to prove it.
You want me to go?
You're not going to be stuttering much. You're going to go and get away and give me the detailed information you claim proves we can get a distance extrapolation based on the parallax to Alpha Centauri. Go get it now.
Okay. Can you present my screen?
Can you go get it? Can you do that for me? Can you go and get what I've asked you for 8 times? Can you stop saying you're not stuttering, because you are?
Nathan, quit stuttering. I've got it.
Yeah, a stutter. When I hold you to account for your claim that you haven't proven, even though I've asked you 9 times to go and get me this parallax information to Centauri, Alpha Centauri. Hello?
Can you present my screen?
No.
Okay.
You could
Hey, come
link us
over to
the
my
source.
house. Knock on the door. Nobody answers.
Why can't you,
could
just
link us
explain
the
it
source.
with words?
Tell us where it is. If you
Because
posted it in
it's
Discord, someone will get it
very
to me.
complicated subject matter.
Sorry, are we going to spend the next 10 minutes dealing with this administrative nonsense, or are you just going to post it in Discord so someone can stick it in Skype so I can have a look at it?
Yes, it is.
What makes you... No, it's not. Okay, can you explain to me...
Why are you asking me for something? 9 times. Detailed information on the Parallax to Alpha Centauri. I need to see that, not be asked anything. Your claim, we'll deal with your claim. That's it. Don't ask me anything. You say we know distances based on Parallax, so we're going to have a little look at it. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
Good. Now, when it's in front of me, we'll be looking at it in detailed discussions will take place after we've had a little look at it. Okay, 50? Then we'll decide whether or not your claim that you can prove distances that are ever expanding according to redshift based on Parallax to Alpha Centauri. We're going to have a look at it. Okay, son?
Okay. So you're going to present my screen?
No, we're going to have a look at it. It's been posted, right? Where is it?
You can have... No, there hasn't been...
Sorry, is that you not stuttering again? We just need to have a look at the documentation you're going to present so we can look along with you.
Say that again?
Post it so I can see it.
Just share it and we'll go through it together.
Post it in Discord.
I'll post you the link of the reference I'm using.
Yep, great. Can someone stick this to me?
And you're going to share it?
Oh, yeah, I'll bring it up. No worries once I've got it.
He's only told you for the last 5 minutes, post it so he could share it. And now you're saying, are you going to share it?
Okay. Well, we're talking. I've checked all these sources, by the way. This is a Wikipedia article, but I went through here and I've checked these sources.
Sorry, you're telling me that we're getting this from Wiki?
So
Wiki is the
we're
source.
going to go through. Just FYI,
we're not going to go through anything until I've got it in front of me. So shut up and establish that I've got it in front of me before you do a damn thing.
Okay.
Has it been posted in Discord?
Can you act like a respectful adult?
I'll do what I damn well please here. This is my show. I'll do as I like. If you want to claim that you can show us distances to the known lights in the sky that we all observe based on Parallax to Alpha Centauri, I just need the document posting in Discord. If it had been, it would already be in front of me in Master B. It's not, so I can only assume you haven't posted it yet. So I'm going to say this stuttering idiot has no proof of distances based on Parallax, or it had presented it in a hurry.
There it is.
Ah,
well, you think I've got them in my back pocket, dude?
Excellent. Thank you very much. Finally there. Let's have a little look at your wiki entry.
Okay, so post me a link to the live stream.
Sorry, this is an information on what Parallax is. I know what Parallax is. I don't need you to post it from Wiki. I need the Parallax information 10 times. I've asked you 10 times. Not what Parallax is from Wiki. I know what Parallax is. I need the information for the measured Parallax to Alpha Centauri. Are you retarded? Prove your claim that's Parallax measured to Alpha Centauri to prove distance measurements to the rest of the universe.
I mean, what's the problem with
what's the stuttering idiot not presenting? He's not presenting evidence to back his claim. While stuttering a lot and denying that he's stuttering. Yeah, I haven't had your evidence. You said parallax measurements prove you can get distance to the known universe in a heliocentric assumed orbital model from Kepler. Now I need to see the measurements of the parallax you claimed. You don't seem to understand that you've got to actually cite what you've said proves your claim of measured distance within the heliocentric model. You're not doing that. You're just stuttering and yammering and not citing your actual evidence that you're not giving me. What's your problem?
Closest known star, Nathan. If you don't want to present that to your audience so they might get some knowledge and might be able to think for themselves, then that's on you, buddy.
Right, you haven't given me the information of the parallax measurement to Alpha Centauri.
So does it address the Centauri?
Yeah, me or John is
sorry?
asking questions about this.
Does it address the Centauri parallax? Or does it just, this is parallax?
It adjusts.
You stuttering fuckwit!
You're not stuttering, right?
Yeah, you stuttering fuckwit. It's not what you've said.
Nathan, if I stutter for...
It's because you're being held to task for the shit you've said that you're not proving. You think that while you fuck us around for 10 minutes saying that you're going to cite something and then present a citation for Wiki on what parallax is, that will suffice while you chat your shit. No, it won't, 50. What will suffice is me laughing at you, because you can't prove distances to the known universe with a measurement of parallax. We already know there's no parallax. There might be a minor error in the measurement tools. We've gone through this many times. Adam did extensive research into your nonsense claim that we can already take apart before you don't present the actual evidence that would back your claim.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. We've already taken it apart, you stammering, lying shit. You haven't presented me with parallax data for the measurement to Alpha Centauri. You've cited what parallax is. Pathetic globe behaviour. With a lot of obfuscation, it took us a long time to get your wiki on parallax. Not the data that would back your claim, though, is it, 50?
I could easily get that.
We'll go and get it then. I've only asked 11 times.
I know
The angle measurement
all this
of the
time,
star?
and this is what you got all this time, brother.
No, he doesn't have anything. He's a globe believer. What he's got is obfuscation. In this case, obfuscate for enough time for the parallax citation that I was asking about. What, the 6th time? We get a parallax citation, like with Dumb and don't know what parallax is, when he's explicitly claimed he's got a parallax to Alpha Centauri measurement to prove that he can validate distances when he starts arguing about redshift. So far, he tried to scattergun us through that. I stopped him at his very first claim. Did he back his claim and prove it for his heliocentric nonsense that he's going to spurt? No! Of course he didn't. We've got what we're going through now. His nonsense, not his proof. Not his proof under scrutiny. His behaviour. His nonsense. His chatting crap through the top of me non-stop. That's what we're discussing. Yeah, he hasn't got any proof. Earth does not get validated in terms of its distance to the stars by way of a parallax measurement to Alpha Centauri. If it did, you could be damn sure we'd be going through it. He could easily get it. He isn't.
I'm guessing I'm getting muted, right?
No, you're not getting muted, you dumb fuck. You're getting humiliated by me.
Then shut up first.
Then maybe if you stop stuttering through the top of me, yeah, you'd actually go and get your Alpha Centauri evidence that you haven't. Or you could just talk straight through the top of me and claim you're being muted. You could do that. Or you could be getting your Alpha Centauri evidence you haven't given us. Is that you presenting the evidence that you haven't given us? Or is that you just making noises? It sounds like you've got a lot to say. Like, or maybe stuttering.
Let's see here.
Yeah, we don't want that. We want the evidence that would back your bullshit claim that we've already overcome. No, there will never be an evidence-based claim backed by 50 that parallax measurements to Alpha Centauri prove the distances to the lights in the known universe so that he can argue about redshift. He's never going to get there. This is folly. He can't prove it. He can just obfuscate indefinitely. That's all he's got.
No, Nathan, I'd like you to be quiet for a second so I can speak. Oh, wow, he's going to be quiet for a second, okay? I didn't have this in my back pocket.
Nobody gives a shit about what you don't have. Nobody wants to listen to you for a second babbling about how you haven't got it in your back pocket when you had 12 renditions of you could just be going and getting it. A minute ago, you could easily go and get it. But now we're going to, have the 12th do-si-do go around? Well, I say, no. We're not going to do 12 do-si-do go-arounds with him not providing evidence to back that parallax will prove distances to the stars. And his moment that he could have took to prove that was taken to say, oh, I haven't got it in my back pocket. Why would I expect it to have it?
Nathan.
Let's see here. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Nathan.
No, you've had plenty of 1 seconds while Brian starts piping up. No, I don't want to give you another second. You don't deserve another second of my time. You're a time waster. So I don't waste my time with time wasters. I just go through the motions of pointing out to my audience that there is no evidence to back that you know the distances to the stars by way of parallax. The claim that you've got a parallax measurement to Alpha Centauri to prove this has not come under scrutiny because it has not been presented. Therefore, the claimant's claim, that's 50 in this instance, fails.
Do you remember when I proved...
Don't ask me what I remember. I just need you to cite evidence, otherwise you're not going to get another word out the microphone.
Well, you ought to know about...
You ought to go be going and getting that thing rather than you ought to be trying to talk through me. You ought to isn't giving me the evidence that you failed to provide.
I'm asking you a question, Nathan.
I don't care. I'm not answering any questions from you. You're the one who's put a positive claim on the table. Until you prove it, you're not getting another word on this show.
Do you remember...
Do I care what you've got to ask me about when you haven't proven that Alpha Centauri's parallax measurements prove distance? They don't. You'd be proving it. You wouldn't be asking me questions, Sunshine. Your globe Earth's dead. You've got nothing to prove it. We crap on it every time you come here and obfuscate the fact you haven't got any evidence. You've only got the suggestion of evidence to back your bullshit claim, and we take it apart at face value every time you attempt it. All you've got once you fail is to start asking me a barrage of questions about what I remember. I remember 5 minutes ago asking you for the evidence to back your claim that you could prove the distance to the lights, and you didn't give it me.
You've been berating me.
What you did do is constantly interrupt me in an attempt to stop the audience hearing how badly you failed.
And you've been berating me the entire time.
For not providing the evidence of a measurement of parallax to Alpha Centauri. Yeah, you're damn right I'll be berating you for your failure in this discussion that would prove distances to the known lights in the universe in the heliocentric model. I will berate you for your failure. You don't have to like it, Sunshine. You wouldn't be getting berated, you'd be being praised by your globe-believing brethren if you provided evidence that backed the distances that you claimed. You're not. That's why you're being berated.
I can't get it, Nathan, because you're berating me.
Oh, I can't get the evidence I need to back my claim I made because Nathan's stopping me.
You're berating me.
Yeah, that's stopping you getting what you claimed was to be easily acquired. You can't back your evidence for measurements to the distances in the heliocentric model. You don't have any R values. You don't have Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion. It's a fantasy invented by a man of the church. And you certainly don't have parallax measurements to Alpha Centauri to back distance measurements, and you never will.
Well, like you would know, Nathan.
Well, I'd know if they were in front of me.
I'm so sure you would.
Yeah, well, I would, because you've claimed it and you haven't put them in front of me. I don't know, and I never will, but I'm prepared to put my reputation on the line to say, if these things existed, they'd be in front of me right now, humiliating me. They're not, and instead I'm being told, it's really difficult, I haven't got them in my back pocket. It's not like you berating me, stopping me from going away and getting them. You haven't got them, you never will. You can't prove distances to your heliocentric nonsense, and you never will.
I will give it to you.
Go on then, let's have them. It's only been the 13th occasion that I've asked you to back your evidence that you can prove distances to the stars in the known universe by showing us the parallax measurements to Alpha Centauri. Give them me now.
Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah, give them me now. That's it. Either you give them me or you don't have any further discussion. I just keep concluding that you can't prove distances, and you never will. And the chance that you had to do so was wasted on claiming that Nathan's berating you stopped you getting your evidence. Yeah, that's going to really wash with your globe-believing brethren. They're going to really admire your talent.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's what he's doing through the top of me, by the way. While he says, am I being muted? What he's actually doing through the top of me is going blah, 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 blah. That's what Globe Believers has got. Apparently, this is me berating him and stopping him from getting his evidence to back his claim, when in reality, it's him on the mic going blah, 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 blah. Right? That's what you've got.
Would you let me speak?
Would you suck my dick? No, probably not. I won't let you speak. No, the answer is no. That's why I asked you a question to get you to say no. Yeah, no, you won't. No. Right. I won't let you do anything except back your claim that you put on the table. And if you fail to do it, I'll just keep summarising that you, the globe-believing muppet, failed to back your claim that you've got known distances based on parallax measurements to Alpha Centauri. You failed to do that.
Because you wouldn't let me do it, Nathan.
Oh, I wouldn't let him. It's really my fault. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? I am censoring him providing his evidence via Discord for us to all scrutinise. It's really my fault. It's the flat earthers suppressing the globe evidence of parallax measurements to Alpha Centauri, as claimed by 50. Yeah, it's really my censorship that's stopping you from providing evidence to back your claim that I'll keep summarising you haven't got because you can't prove it.
Can I please speak for a second?
What, can you ask me if you can speak 50 times through the top of my conclusion?
So, in order for me to get you the detailed information that you want on Alpha Centauri, I have to be able to read through it, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem. I want to read through it with you. Just post it in the Discord chat, whatever you're about to read, and we'll read alongside with you and scrutinise it alongside with you. I don't want to just be hearing you pretending to read something that I haven't actually seen exists. I need to see it in existence in front of me quite clearly first.
So it's very obvious you're obfuscating because you won't allow me time to look at this.
Is this what it is? Alpha Centauri wiki.
That's the excuse?
Okay, Alpha Centauri, got it up. Finally.
Oh, yeah. What?
So it's going to take me a minute to read it, Nathan.
Just tell me
and present you
whereabouts.
with the details.
No, it's all right. You know, it was really easy to find. Excellent. Whereabouts does it talk about the parallax measurement to Alpha Centauri?
I haven't had a chance to look at it.
So, in other words, it doesn't have it.
That's not right. No, in other words,
that's not what I. It's not what I. Sounds like you're stuttering again. Yeah, stuttery, lying bullshitter. You've presented a wiki citation on Alpha Centauri when I asked you specifically for the measurements of parallax to Alpha Centauri. This is a generalized overview of Alpha Centauri rather than the parallax measurements, which we won't get. And they won't prove anything because they don't exist. And if they did exist, we'd take it apart based on Adam's prior taking it apart, based on the inaccuracies of the measurement itself and the margin of error that would be claimed to be parallax if there's ever going to be a claim made. This wiki entry on Alpha Centauri itself isn't detailed measurements that you claimed of the parallax to Alpha Centauri. Yet another globe-believing failure obfuscation. Please, G+, please.
Actually, I think I might have sent the wrong link. But I can absolutely, if you want me.
Sorry, if I cannot stutter for a few more seconds, I can claim that the link I sent that this has come from you. It's from 50 about Alpha Centauri in general from Wiki was a reasonable obfuscation tactic before I actually come to the thing I've been asked for 14 times, which would be your claim in the first instance that you've got
3 words out. 3 words out.
Yeah, you said that this wasn't the right link.
Yes.
Yes. So, suck my balls, you globe-believing muppet. I don't need to hear anything else. What else do I need to hear when I've asked 15 times for you to back your claim that you can get measurements of the parallax to Alpha Centauri when you've given me a general overview of Alpha Centauri, then told me what, by interruption, continual interruption, that you're not getting enough words out to tell me that it's the wrong link? Did you think that 15 interruptions while I'm talking about how this doesn't prove that we've got distance measurements for you to babble on about redshift, you think that needed you constantly interrupting me to say I wasn't getting enough words in? I needed to tell you that I'd posted the wrong link by way of constant interruption. Is that reasonable?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So if you want me to get you detailed information...
16 times I've asked for you to just back your claim that you've got parallax measurement to Alpha Centauri so we can scrutinise the measurement process. This wiki isn't going to cut it. And you haven't provided it. I've asked you 16 times. So no, I'll just constantly cut you off. You're not going to get a more than, oh, it was the wrong link, constant interruption through the top of me. Just me, for my audience, succinctly summarising that a parallax measurement to Alpha Centauri will never come. If it does, it will be scrutinised based on its margin of error within the measurement process, as we've already done that.
Oh, okay. I'm so sure.
Yeah, we're sure. We've done it. You'd have provided it already. So far, 2 wiki links, generalised description of parallax and generalised description of Alpha Centauri isn't specifically what you claimed, which was measurements of parallax to Alpha Centauri. I asked for the measurements. It was 0.1 of an attempt to scattergun us with all sorts of other crap. The very first thing out of your mouth. 17 times I've asked you to give it me. You haven't.
Because you've been berating me the entire time.
Yeah, it's really my fault that you haven't got it. You've had 2 attempts with wiki entries, but really it's me that's stopping you from actually backing your claim.
It is, Nathan.
No, it isn't. That's utterly absurd. No member of the audience, even your own globe-believing stupid idiot side, would ever, in their estimation, blame me for your inability to back your own claim. No. No. You're just a clown.
The Earth is a globe.
Okay. According to the citation I've just had,
you want some evidence for that?
Reading what it says about parallax.
I've also got evidence.
I don't care what you've also got. Until we get that claim backed by you, you're not going to have another word on this mic. I made that absolutely clear. On screen now, what is parallax? Parallax is the observed displacement of an object caused by the change of the observer's point of view. In astronomy, it is an irreplaceable tool for calculating distance of faraway stars. Parallax enables astronomers to measure the distances to faraway stars by using trigonometry. So this uses flat baselines.
Yes, that's what I was.
I've been trying to say it too, but
I want to hear from 50. I want to hear from 50. Everybody else, please be quiet. Maybe you didn't hear. I'll just repeat that. Parallax measurements require Earth to be flat. 50.
What?
On screen now for my audience, it's an angle measurement, 50. Therefore, you would require a flat baseline for it to be called an angle.
Okay, we'll establish the flat baseline.
So, Earth is flat. Well, thank you for your time.
Wow.
We will just establish a horizontal baseline. Thank you, 50. Thank you, Quantum Eraser, for pointing this out. And as now conceded by 50, we will establish a horizontal baseline. That's right, 50. Your parallax measurements require Earth to be flat, and you will establish a horizontal baseline in order to do that.
For that? Can I get a citation for that? Or are you not?
It's on screen now. We're broadcasting to a live audience. Thank you, Chocolate. Thank you. It's really nice that this will be wonderful to edit with non-stop interruptions from my own fucking panel. Thank you for that. Thank you. It's not enough that 50's continually interrupting me. I think it would be very, very useful if you all do it too. Thank you.
Are you talking
the
about
citation?
The one that,
you see what I mean? See what I mean? I don't need help interrupting from my own panel. 50's quite capable. It's on screen for my live audience. It details what parallax is and very clearly shows the measurement of an angle off a flat Earth. Like when you said, yes, we will establish a horizontal baseline, the citation from it is from space.com.
Post it.
Post it. It's on screen for a live audience from space.com. You were talking about space, right? I'm pretty sure space.com are going to know about space, and the angles you're citing, that'll be parallax measurements, require a horizontal baseline. You have affirmed Earth is measured flat to get parallax measurements if they were to exist to Alpha Centauri, which you didn't provide. Earth is flat.
Can I ask you a question?
No, you can listen to me gloating about how your parallax measurements require a flat Earth.
What makes you think you can't establish a flat surface on Earth?
You can establish a flat Earth baseline on Earth. You do establish a flat Earth baseline on Earth. Earth is flat to establish said baseline, and said baseline is flat in your example of parallax measurement. Therefore, Earth is, by your example, being measured flat. It is that simple. 50. What part of this don't you understand? Earth being measured flat by your example, on screen from space.com, angle from a flat baseline. Earth is giving you that baseline.
Dude, so you're telling me that you can't establish a flat surface on Earth?
You do establish a flat Earth baseline for your parallax measurement. It is a requirement that Earth is flat to do this, and your example requires it to be flat to do this. For you to make your example of parallax, Earth must be flat.
No.
Yeah, it's on screen now from space.com, where they show a flat baseline with an angle coming from that flat baseline to the star. That would be a flat Earth prerequisite for your example. Earth must be flat. Yes.
Okay, read it from...
Read out flat Earth must be from space.com. Parallax enables astronomers to measure distances of faraway stars by using trigonometry. Do you think that's going to include a curved baseline like a curved Earth would have? No, Earth must be flat to do this trig that you were claiming. It's a prerequisite. You know, that flat baseline you said that we would get?
Why are you lying?
I'm not lying. It's on screen. It's from space.com. It was a quote. I read it out from space.com. Do you think space.com are lying? Because I just read it out from space.com. Those were their words, not mine. Why are you accusing space.com of lying? Space.com say it needs a flat Earth. Space.com say it's trig. Space.com show an example on screen for my live audience of the flat Earth that is required. This is not me lying. Why would you accuse me of lying when it's Space.com's example of a flat Earth being needed?
I'm looking at the
stuttering globe that's disappearing from your paradigm as you tell me how flat it is on that Space.com example, live to an audience. Yeah.
Where? I'm
on screen for my audience. Space.com. What is parallax? It then shows an angle from a flat baseline, the one that you said we will get.
What? Where's the right angle?
Right angle? It's just an angle. Nobody mentioned right angle, just angle. Parallax, you said you were measuring from flat baseline on screen from Space.com. You've gone all high-pitched, it seems.
Where's the right angle?
Nobody mentioned the right angle, you dumb fuck.
Well, that would make it flat, Nathan.
Sorry, why did you bring up a flat Earth other proof of celestial navigation when this is a parallax angle measurement? It's on screen labelled parallax measurement, not celestial navigation. You seem to be confusing your subject matters when you talk about 90s. I mean, there may be a 90 in the middle of this, but the angle measurement from each individual point doesn't necessarily have to have a 90 for me to point out that the flat baseline's needed to get an angle. It needs a flat Earth 50.
Okay, so where...
Okay, so welcome to Flat Earth. It needs a flat Earth 50, okay. Yeah, that's right, 50. Your example needs a flat Earth, okay.
Where in this does it say it's flat?
You see this line here? Yeah? This is the baseline. Yeah? That's not curving away at 8 inches per mile squared. There's two positions measuring the same star along a flat baseline. I don't see any curved Earth. This isn't globe-shaped. This is Space.com.
Where?
On screen now for my live audience. See this flat baseline? Yeah? There's your 90, by the way. Right there. Nevertheless, I don't need that 90. I didn't mention it. This angle measurement is off a flat baseline. Earth is required to be flat in order to get parallax measurement.
There's nothing here
that makes you stutter like a stuttering, stammering globe believer being raped.
Yes, because you're berating me, Nathan. It's a little...
Berating you? No, I'm using a Space.com example of what is parallax. Your example was parallax. It's got 90s, it's got flat baselines, it's got angles to stars, it's got all sorts of stuff that requires Earth to be flat in order to do. I mean, it's truly fascinating stuff. I'm not berating you. I'm proving Earth's flat with your example.
Does that make you feel nice that you make...
Yeah, well, I prove flat Earth with globe believers examples. Yeah, it does.
Yes, but...
Yeah, it does. Not only does it make me feel good, it makes me feel justified when I e-beg. If you're watching this live as we speak, yeah, smash the super chat. Hit me up on PayPal. Show the love and appreciation for this globe-believing muppet who has used parallax, which requires a flat Earth, to what claim we've got heliocentric distances to stars, interrupt me while I summarise how badly he's lost. I mean, that's really all he's doing. He just started interrupting me. Is that your mute button, 50, that you feel you need to use? Feel you need to mute and censor this flat Earth proof, right?
There's nothing on here that claims bolsters your claim, Nathan. Nothing.
Right, this is your claim, dumb fuck. There's nothing on this that claims my claim. No, you were claiming parallax, not me. This is your claim that proves the flat Earth. Your claim of parallax has a flat baseline. It's from space.com, and this was an example that you used about how far in space things are. Well, here's the expert on space talking about parallax, your example, and here it is with a flat Earth angle requirement. So that's not me berating you. I'm praising you. Well done, 50.
My claim, your claim that...
I bought a parallax, did I? To prove redshift. That was my claim.
No, your claim...
No, it wasn't, was it? No, it was your claim that proves a flat Earth there, 50. Well done. You're not being berated. Give him a fanfare. 50 proves a flat Earth. Well done.
Hey, let's just say...
Let's just stutter around how well you proved flat Earth and claim I'm berating you. No, I'm praising you, sunshine. Well done for proving a flat Earth with flat Earth prerequisite parallax angle measurements. That's really well done. You're a really good lad. The globe believers will be really pleased with you, 50, for how well you've done proving a flat Earth with this. Kudos. Everyone's going to be really happy with you. I mean, maybe not the globe believers. They might be a little bit annoyed. But all of us flatties, we're really happy with your flat Earth proof.
I mean, you're so far...
You're so stuttering because you're being rolled over by a flat earther with your own evidence. It's not my claim, 50, it's yours. Your claim requires a flat Earth, though, son. I hope you're proud of how much a flat Earth is needed for your claim.
So where does it say it has to be flat, Nathan?
On this diagram here, you see this flat line for the baseline you conceded we will acquire? Well, that's not a curving Earth, my friend. There's no example in this. There's nothing that exhibits Earth curve. There's just a flat baseline.
Well, it looks like to me that this is isosceles triangle, and the right angle would be between the sun and the Earth.
So we're going to have a flat baseline for that right angle triangle then? The baseline is flat.
From the sun.
From the Earth.
The right angle is, you know what a right angle is, Nathan?
I know that you're going to need a flat baseline. You've already conceded that we will get a baseline to be flat in order to do your parallax measurement. Well, that's game over, 50. That's where Earth was proven flat. Now, maybe you want to move forward in a different example that includes parallax that requires a flat Earth. But I've got all I need from you, Sunshine. We will be getting a flat baseline, so you say.
Let's
stutter around the baseline that you say we will get that proves Earth flat. No, we're not going to stutter away from it. We're going to stick with it. You say we will get a flat baseline for the parallax.
Nathan, it's okay.
Yeah, that you get a flat baseline for your measurement. It is okay. Perfectly okay by me. Yeah, it's perfectly okay that you get this flat baseline for your parallax measurement. Absolutely fine by us as flat earthers. I don't know how your globe-believing friends will feel about it.
Put your big boy britches on, and let's talk about your diagram. Can you do?
It's not my diagram. It's space.com's diagram. They show a flat Earth needed.
The diagram you presented, Nathan.
Yeah, from space.com. That's right. For parallax that you were claiming.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. You were claiming parallax about space, so we went to space.com and got their explanation of what parallax is, and it turns out you'll need a flat Earth for it.
Can we talk about the diagram?
Yeah, it needs a flat Earth. Yeah, we are.
Can we talk about the diagram?
What, do you need to repeat it 5 times through the top of me saying it's a flat Earth that's needed?
You won't be
You will be stuttering quite a lot through the top of me in a vain hope that the audience won't hear me proving out a flat Earth must be for this to work. I mean, you can try and stutter and stammer your way through the top of every word I say, it just won't be successful, 50. But the diagram from space.com, which is something you brought up for your claim, does show that Earth must be flat for the angle.
Yeah, I know you're incapable.
I know you're capable of stuttering every time I prove how flat Earth is with your diagram. Yeah? Because this is your diagram, because it's about space from space.com.
I get it. You know, you're incapable of discussing the diagram. That's fine.
No, I am discussing the diagram. There's no incapability on my part when I describe how the diagram shows how Earth must be flat in order to acquire an angle measurement to the sun or a star for parallax claims that you are making for distances to things in the known universe. Therefore, distances to anything that you might or might not claim will require Earth to be flat in order to acquire the angle measurement, as detailed on this diagram from space.com.
That was another lie.
No, it's not a lie. It's on screen for the audience. What is parallax from space.com? Right, clear and crystal clear. There's that flat baseline you said we will get. Yeah, we will get it.
Discussion requires me presenting an idea and you responding to it.
Yeah, like parallax, like Alpha Centauri parallax measurements, which you didn't present, even though you had 16 opportunities to do so. You presented a few wiki entries. You didn't take your opportunity, even though you had 16 of them.
Are we going to discuss this now?
I've just told you. You accused me of not offering you the opportunity. I pointed out that you had 16 opportunities. You didn't take any of them. You obfuscated with wiki entries. Now we're looking at space.com because your claim, which failed, requires Earth to be flat to even assert that you can acquire parallax measurements. So we are discussing this diagram.
Man, you are like...
You are stuttering like a bitch for a live audience. That's what you are doing. I mean, you claimed 3 times that you weren't stuttering. You are.
So I'm going to discuss the diagram, and we're going to see if you can discuss the diagram. So in this diagram, there's a star at the top, there's a sun at the bottom, making a right angle to Earth, okay? There's one 90-degree angle, there's 2 acute angles, okay? Acute angles are not flat. End of story.
So do you want to show me where the curve of the Earth is on this diagram, please?
That's not what it's showing, Nathan.
So just to be clear, this diagram is not showing the curve of the Earth.
That's not what's meant to show, no.
It's not meant to show the curve of the Earth. So in a diagram about measuring things on the ground, it's not meant to show the Earth has curvature. It doesn't. It shows the Earth is flat. It must be flat to take this angle measurement, and it's not required to show the Earth has any curvature. Okay, we're all clear.
Have you ever heard of...
Have you ever heard about this showing the Earth was curved?
Oh, no, you're stuttering.
No. Are you going to show me how this ever shows Earth as being curved along the ground? You know, do you have an example that has a curved baseline as opposed to one that shows Earth being measured flat from space.com?
Yes.
Go on then, let's see the one that has a curved baseline for this angle measurement. Let's see that. I estimate that this will take 20 attempts to not get it.
You can make a flat surface on the Earth, Nathan.
Well, that wouldn't be a curved surface that I'm asking you to go and get. We know we can make a curved surface, you say? Let's see that. Because I already know it can be flat and must be flat. You know it too, as you've just disclaimed.
Human.
That's what he's doing through the top of me, by the way. Every time I close his line, he's hoping to throw me off by repeating the same thing over and over and over again so that nobody in the audience, or in this case in Discord, can actually hear anything that I retort with. It's just his repetition over and over again of whatever he's decided he's going to interrupt me with.
I'd like to say
because you're saying you can't make a flat surface on it.
It is flat in this diagram. I asked you if you could show me one that had curved. You told me the diagram didn't need curve. Where we're at is me asking you to get one that does have curve.
Well, there in this diagram, it has the Earth as a tiny little bitty marble that's curved.
Can you show me that in the diagram, please?
What do you mean show you that? How am I supposed to...
What kind of an idiot doesn't understand what show means? Did you not understand what the word show means? I asked you earlier to show, and you said it wasn't there.
I'm looking at this on my computer.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I'm looking at it on my projector screen. Meanwhile, it's a flat Earth that I'm looking at, and when asked earlier if there was any Earth curve in it, you said no, it wasn't needed. So we don't need Earth curve in this. Okay, you claim Earth's curving. Can you get me one that does have Earth curve?
This one does have Earth curve, Nathan.
Where's that? Can you show me where that is in this diagram, please, given you've already disclaimed it doesn't?
Where the Earth is. I didn't say it doesn't, Nathan.
Oh, well, if it does, can you show it me?
Where you want me to show it to you at?
Well, you want me to show me the show me the Earth curve in this diagram.
On what?
Nathan,
but using what means?
Using eyeballs, please.
The Earth.
Nathan, if I may, it's the equatorial plane in the picture on both sides. It's not coming from the surface. Just zoom in.
To the left, there's the sun, there's the right angle, there's the Earth. There's the star. Okay. So, on Earth right there, if you notice, that's an acute angle.
Angle? So flat Earth required then? Acute, obtuse, who cares? It's an angle off a flat baseline, isn't it, 50? Yeah? So why are you telling me about how flat this baseline must be? It's not a curved line along the base.
You need a flat surface to measure an acute angle.
So to measure an angle, we need Earth to be flat.
Really? So
well, that's what you've just told me. To measure an acute angle, we need a straight, flat baseline. Facts.
So if I go out to my car...
So why not acknowledge our Earth must be flat?
What if I could prove...
What if you could acknowledge Earth was flat with this flat Earth elevation, flat Earth parallax angle measurement? What if you could acknowledge that, 50? Maybe you could acknowledge it rather than just parroting your same nonsense through me?
Would you like to...
Would you like to stop stuttering through the top of every word I say and perhaps acknowledge how this has no Earth curve in it and it is demonstrating how this parallax measurement does require Earth to be flat? Could you acknowledge that?
It does not.
It does. It's on screen now for the audience.
Is it the same diagram?
Yeah, same diagram, just bigger. Yeah, you can laugh it up, sunshine. Earth is flat.
You show my video.
What video? I mean, we had 16 attempts for you to provide videos, to provide citations, to provide measurements of parallax to Alpha Centauri. 16 opportunities not enough for you? Maybe it was me stopping you.
I'm going to whip up a demonstration right now to show you.
Whip it up, all right. We whipped up a flat Earth elevation. I keep calling it elevation. A flat Earth parallax measurement proof from your example prior. I mean, earlier you told us that we could get the distances to the heliocentric stars in the universe from a parallax measurement. And just to conclude, 50, you were definitely wrong about that. What you can actually do with a parallax measurement, if you were to infer that you've got parallax to Alpha Centauri, which I still assert you will never provide me with, and if you did, we'd be taking it apart based on its margin of error within the measurement of the accuracy of the machines that we use to give you it, you still need a flat Earth to do it. So that's where my conclusion comes from.
What makes you think you need a flat Earth to do it?
It's on screen now from space.com. See, they show how the angle, the bottom bit, the baseline, this line here, it's not curving. If it was curving, that's your base, that's the ground, then it wouldn't be an angle measurement. Earth must be flat in order to acquire this angle.
So you believe, Nathan, if you believe you can't measure an acute angle
from a curved baseline. Yeah, if one of those lines is curved because Earth's curved, it will not give you an angle. That's not a belief. That's a statement of absolute fact.
No, Nathan. No, Nathan. You can...
Well, then just show me how you can get an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline and we'll all be cushy. Because we've been asking for it for quite a significant period of time. If you say I'm wrong, you need to show me an elevation angle measurement or any measurement, in this case, parallax angle measurement,
Nathan,
from a curved baseline. It's him censoring the truth with his mute button. He's being asked for something, so he's censoring the truth because he's a globe believer and knows it's not true. So he needs to mute me. Need to mute me. Censor the flat Earth truth that you've proven.
You're not rebutting anything I'm saying, Nathan.
That's your mute button, isn't it?
You're not rebutting anything I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm showing it on screen. So flat Earth is required for a parallax measurement. This is claimed to be a proof that we know how far things are in the known universe. And yet, when you actually measure it, you can't have one of the lines be bent. The ground, the baseline. If it was bent, it wouldn't be an angle. That's my proof.
Is this Mimsy from the trees?
Sorry, was that you ignoring what I just said?
Well, you don't make any sense. So.
Excuse me. Why are you
not rebutting
an acute angle? Why are you attributing acute angle to a picture from space.com that does not show an acute angle?
What? Do you know what an acute angle is?
Look at the picture. Look at the picture. It's either an isosceles or an equilateral triangle. It's not an acute triangle in that picture. The measurement is coming from the center of the Earth, the equatorial plane, as you can see the baseline cutting through the Earth between the hemispheres, not the surface. Kurt.
Let's see. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, use your eyes next time.
Yeah, indeed. With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
Foaming at the mouth again.
Yeah. I knew you were too, John.
At least you guys are get cursed at.
Different.
Yeah, and then I posted everything, and he says, "Thank you, QE."
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I thought you said it came from QE. I could have swore you said it came from QE.
I'll take it apart.
Nathan.
Yes,
you know
that's me.
When they start claiming that now even though it's in celestial navigation, there is no height claim to the celestial body. It's purely an angular measurement.
Testing.
But when we, excuse me, 50 on peaking there a second.
Oh, I thought I was muted. My bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you should go on mute now. You'll know you're muted when you're on mute. When we take an elevation angle to a celestial body, let's just say, and a straw man that were handed with that because they was our opposition 50 that used to try and hand us in the past was two angles from two different positions on a flat plane to a celestial body at the same time, right? Now, I know parallax is done slightly different with time-wise, but it's still the same exact thing. We were strawman with the height of Polaris or the height of this or the height of that is X amount of miles, right? So they were giving a feet and miles distance to an angle measurement, right? Now, what they're doing with parallax is they're doing the exact same thing, except for that horizontal baseline that runs between both angles is then they add R to that, right, making the surface a horizontal into a chord line, and then that stretches out the angle, and they're giving a miles and feet distance to their celestial bodies. So they're trying to pass off something that, first of all, requires a horizontal plane, pass that off as some kind of straw man to us, but then use that exact thing to give them their distances when they add R to that horizontal baseline. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. And that's, I've said this before, that's all that's ever been done. So whatever 50 is going to come up with, he must remember he can never strawman us again with that same argument. If they're going to use parallax, if they're going to use parallax as some kind of a proof of something, which it isn't, it only proves a flat plane, then you can't say we should have feet and miles distance to a celestial body via an elevation angle, because that's what they're using for their parallax.
Nathan,
what about what if I do a live?
Hang on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Chocolate speak.
Go ahead.
Nathan, do you see a screen recording posted in Master B?
Yeah, do you want me to play it?
Yeah,
it's the right angle.
Nobody mentioned the right angle, you dumb fuck.
Well, that would make it flat, Nathan.
Sorry, why did you bring up a flat?
Right angle, that would make it flat. That's interesting. Do we use right angles in celestial
Talking about
navigation?
the sun, dude. It's the right angle.
Nobody mentioned the right angle, you dumb fuck.
Well, that would make it flat, Nathan.
Sorry, why did you bring up a flat?
Thank you.
I'm getting cut up out of context. That's cute.
Unorthodox. Did you think after all these years you'd come in here and actually prove flat Earth? I mean, did you think that was going to happen? That's bugged out, isn't it?
Oh, of course. I figured you guys were totally receptive to change everybody's mind.
That's literally you saying a right angle would make it flat. How is that out of context?
You're not understanding what I said, Chocolate.
Oh,
in the diagram.
I didn't. I wasn't the one
let me explain this to you,
it.
okay? Let me explain this to you. In the diagram that was showed on the screen, there's a sun, and then there's a direct line down on the screen. And there's a right angle to the left, and there's a right angle to the right. Both of those point to the Earth. So the right angles I'm talking about are the ones that are drawn down from the sun over to the Earth, and then from the Earth there's a acute angle back up to the sun.
Unorthodox. Is the observer on the sun or on the Earth?
On the sun. On the sun.
The observer's on the sun.
Yeah. You know, we have people on the sun.
Hang on.
Go ahead, Tim.
Where is the observer at? On the Earth, doing measurements to parallax in the sky, or is the observer on the sun?
On the sun.
Wow.
and on the Earth.
Go get some help. You just proved 92.97 million mile of flat Earth right there.
Sweet.
You're okay.
Can be the flat Earth king? Can be the flat Earth king now?
You got observers on the sun now, Unorthodox? Are you feeling all right?
Yeah. I mean, we got a nice telescope going out there.
What happened?
We got a nice telescope on its way.
What, in space? That was where we started. I asked you to define what space was. You said it was the heavens, rather than saying it's a never-ending, infinite, expanding vacuum.
Okay.
Not really.
Well, you said it's on its way. That means it's not there yet. So there's no observers on the sun? Did you just lie again?
Close enough within margin.
Okay, here's the margin. Here's the margarine for you. Space.com. What is parallax? Parallax is the observed displacement of an object caused by the change of the observer's point of view. Where are observers? Are they on the Earth? Are the observers on the Earth or on the sun?
On the Earth, dude.
Well, then why'd you say the sun?
Because the sun's part of the diagram.
The observer is getting the angle from the Earth, and it's coming from the equatorial plane, which is a flat baseline, not the curve of a dingleberry surplus to requirement.
You can make a flat surface on Earth.
92.97 million miles long?
No, to establish the angle.
Oh, but look at the picture.
So we can
It's
make a-
6 months
we can make-
here, 6
Sorry,
months
we-
there. That's
Hold on, Ted, hold on.
92.97 million mile long flat baseline.
Sorry, Tent. We can make a flat surface on Earth, and we must do so. Yeah, these are what we say to prove a flat Earth, though, 50. You realise that, right?
That you can design a flat Earth, or I'm sorry, not that you can design a flat Earth. That you can design a flat surface on Earth. You say that proves a flat Earth. That's like me. That's like me saying, "Oh, I can design a sphere on Earth. Therefore, the Earth is the sphere."
Unorthodox. Can you get an angle from a curved baseline? Is that why you're making?
You can.
A flat baseline? So why are you saying we can establish a flat baseline if you can get one from a curved one?
Because I was
Why are you
rebutting
doing
both
that?
of his claims. I was rebutting both of his
Excuse me?
claims.
Okay, so why would you, if you can get an angle from a curved baseline, why would it be done flat? And why are you telling us all about how you can establish it flat on Earth? Yeah, we know these are all
Because
flat
I
Earth
was-
proofs. Why would you need to establish it flat and tell us how you can do it flat? If you can get,
you wouldn't need-
if you could allow me to ask you the question, maybe the full question could come through before you started stuttering and stammering through the question. Is that a possibility?
No.
Scared of the question?
Give it another go, Nathan.
Why would it be necessary to tell us how flat you can establish it if you can get an angle from a curved baseline?
Because I was rebutting both of your claims.
That doesn't establish an answer to my question. If you can get an angle from a curved baseline, you wouldn't be telling us all about how flat you can establish it, would you? You just say, here's my angle from a curved baseline. I don't ever need to establish Earth as flat because it's sphere-shaped, and I can get my angle from my sphere-shaped Earth. Here it is. Instead, you're telling us all about how you can do it flat, how it must be flat, how we will establish a horizontal baseline. These are all flat Earth proofs.
Do you not understand English, Nathan?
That's a fantastic rebuttal. Meanwhile, Earth is being measured flat and you damn well know it. And you can't get an angle from a curve because it wouldn't be an angle. You're stupid. You're an idiot. You're a globe believer. So you think angles can come from curves, making you stupid.
You want me to show you?
Oh, you want me to show how stupid you are? You don't get angles from curves. You said you could. You're wrong. It must be flat and you tell us how you can establish it flat because it must be flat to get an angle, making your assertion that you can get an angle from a curve wrong.
Well, let me show you some CAD
I
doc.
don't want to hear anything. You were wrong, 50. No humility, can't concede that you can't get an angle from a curve, it wouldn't be an angle.
Oh.
So you can't concede, you're a pathetic scumbag. Get lost, kick him out.
Mathematicians, huh? You're better versed.
You can't get an angle from a curve,
Mathematicians.
that's a fact. Either you concede it, or it's the end of your time here. I'm sick of you.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah, you
You're
can't
kidding me.
get an angle from a curve. That's a fact. You're saying you
Can I
can.
show you documentation
You saying
that proves otherwise?
it defies the definition of an angle. Two straight lines meeting at a vertex point. Well, not one straight, one
That's
curve.
your definition of a curve.
Okay. Can't get an angle from a curve. You said you
Nathan,
could.
It's a waste of time.
Thank you for your colour commentary, 10th. That's really helpful for my editing process. Thank you.
You documentation that shows you how you can find an angle from a curve.
We went through this before. You said you would give us tangency, and then it was always a tangent line to a presupposed curved Earth.
A presupposed curve.
Yeah, tangent point, though. Not from, but to. So listen carefully. What you tried this last time, but last time what you presented was not an angle from a curve, but a tangent to a curve. You've already tried this, 50. That's the stuttering wanker again that didn't concede it last time, won't concede it this time. Not to a curve, but from a curve.
So let me get this correct.
No, I've already got it correct. We hammered you over the head with it last time. I'm summarising it for my audience, not for you, you dumb spastic. You're too dumb to understand it. I already went through it with you. Now I'm summarising it for my audience, not for you. You're too thick to understand it, having had an entire show of me going through it with you attempting to give us tangents to circles when I'm asking you for angles from curves, not tangents to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, I'll summarise that for my audience. Yeah, you'll interrupt constantly, but I can deal with that. I can close your line so you don't interrupt the summary of how you will fail to get an angle from a curve. It's not possible.
It is.
No, it isn't. And last time you attempted it, you gave us tangents to curves. You're now circle jerking like a complete wanker because it's all you can do is obfuscate around it saying you can get tangents. Yeah, no, that's all you'll do because you can't get an angle from a curve.
You can.
No, you can't.
Software.
No, you can't.
You can do it in CAD software.
So you're going to literally claim that you can do it in CAD software when Rob Durham shows that you can't do it in CAD software. Yeah, so you're just a liar. So what they've got left to do now, 50's a liar, remove him, he's a lying bastard. Because Rob Durham's demonstrating exactly this point, you can't get an angle from a curve, he's now here to lie and say that CAD software will give you angles from curves. No, they won't. Now, he might just present in the end of a load of obfuscation a tangent to a curve, which we've already covered, because he's a lying bastard. So he's going to lie about it indefinitely. Good. Someone server muted him.
Yeah, that was a total lie. An absolute lie. They've been going around saying that about GeoGebra as well. And I showed in a video how you can't do that in GeoGebra, no matter how small the distance you make for the baseline. And I also played Rob's video showing how it can be done in CAD. Because it's not possible. An angle is two straight lines, not one straight line and one curved line. That was a total and utter lie.
It's hilarious. I got to ask Zanuck and Unorthodox the same question. If you could get an angle from a curved surface, why are you using a flat one?
Yeah, good call.
The 2 points that the two observers, or if it's the same observer or 2 different times of the year, they're taking those angles, these angles to this celestial body. Those 2 points are connected by a straight line. That straight line is the surface of Earth, right? Mean sea level. All they're doing is turning that into a chord line by adding R value, their unmeasured R value to it, and then claiming, which extenuates the angle, the distance that the angle stretches to, and then they're using that chord line and those 2 angle lines from it, and giving that miles and inches distance. That's all they're ever doing. But yet they try and strawman us all the time with these angles to celestial bodies, and we should know the height of the celestial body and be using trigonometry. Trigonometry in celestial navigation. You know,
Brian, where's the right angle? That would make it flat.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. Yeah, but see, even prior to celestial navigation, I can show you videos from going way back into 2016, where they're bringing out this nonsense. How if they took 2 angles from a horizontal baseline to the same celestial body, it would make it this height based off of using trigonometry. Whereas we don't claim any height to the celestial bodies, they do, and how they get the height to their celestial bodies is not just by using the horizontal plane, but they add their R value, which is unmeasured, turn that horizontal plane into a chord line, and then they give those 2 angle lines, those 2 hypotenuse lines, they give them a miles and feet distance. That's what they do, yet they try and strawman us with it.
It's worse than that. They're using the summer and winter solstice times for that angle measurement. And that's when the sun moves from the equator 23.5 north or 23.5 south, and then does its circuit again until the equinoxes. All right, so that distance is over the Earth, and we know the sun is much lower in the winter time in the northern part of Earth. So what they ascribe to that is an orbit, and then that orbit distance would make it 92.96 million miles a flat plane for them to measure what it looks like from the summer solstice and then again measure at the winter solstice, when really the sun is just moving overhead 23.5 north and 23.5 south of the equatorial arbitrary line, which is the sun's circuit, the middle, the equinoxes. And this is where they have to use the equatorial plane. This is the EQ Mount telescope, the vernal equinox date, where Earth has to be flat. in order to get all their star maps to work. It's so many things wrong with it. It's crazy.
But 10th, where's the right angle? Because that would make it flat.
Well, it is a right angle if you want it to be a right angle, because that's how celestial navigation is done. But if you're going to use that picture, if you refer to it again, it's showing you an orbit around the sun, and it's saying that orbit distance is over 92 million miles, and it's showing you either an isosceles or equilateral triangle. So not an acute angle, as he said. There was no acute angle in this picture. In fact, the acute angle is in celestial navigation prior to height of eye correction, to where it becomes a right angle, because you got to get it level with the surface of the sea, where there is no dip correction. And Brian knows that too.
And that Sorry, I'm just going to keep saying that today because that's hilarious to me.
Well, let me make a correction. It's an obtuse angle that needs to be made into a right angle by the height of eye correction, because you need a flat baseline.
They must constantly use equinox, because that way they're, and admittedly by them, their equatorial plane extends out into the celestial plane, which gives them a bigger flat baseline. Because in reality, we deal with a bigger flat baseline than what our equatorial plane can produce.
Right on. But that's their mistake. By making it that big and bringing in orbits, they have to extend it to something it's not.
He said he said that he was trying to establish a flat baseline because he wanted to rebut our points. Isn't that our point?
He said there were people on the sun as the observers.
I'm not even worried. Let's get to that next. The rebuttal to us is, yeah, you can establish a flat baseline on Earth. How are you rebutting us with our own shit? I don't get it. How are you doing that? Maybe look up the definition of rebuttal.
Guy just crashed the show, waste of time, fun for a little bit, but then waste of time.
But you know what? You know what I just said? Can I say something? I was going to say, although he seemed to be a clown that was just trying to push buttons and everything, but due to his persistence to deny and resist the truth, it got the opportunity for people just signing in, tuning in, and people listening that may not have gotten it to hear the reiterated version with hyperspecificity from Nathan, reiterating and explaining. So that's the optimistic part I look at.
He did deny the truth when he said, "Where's the right angle?" Because that would make it flat.
Right. But it allowed
That's
Nathan
not denying the truth.
Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that it kept on allowing Nathan to keep reiterating the same thing. So it's almost like it's stamped. So nobody can have an excuse now, whoever listens to this show, or go back and listen to it later on.
D-Rose, we've been doing that for 7-8 years. The same, these clowns would come like this on a daily basis, and hasn't made a dent in the ones that have brain damage.
Yeah.
This is also one of the clowns that came in and repeated that the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge is a monument to Earth's curvature. So I'll always remember this guy.
you know who he reminds me of? You know who reminds me of? He reminds me of, anybody watching American Idol, there's always those contestants that know they're not talented. They just go on the show just to get the 15 minutes of fame and make a complete fool of themselves just to be seen and heard, just to hear their voice. That's what he is. He has no argument, but he wants to get on the show just to say he was on the show. That's what I get out of it. Because, I mean, can you be that dumb?
Well, he used to come on, he used to hang in here on a regular basis, and he disappeared. This is what they do. When he was hanging in here on a regular basis, he was actually more tolerable. You could have more conversation. He wasn't always easy, but you could literally, I remember Nathan being able to ask him his opinion on something another bowler who's in would say, right? But now he disappeared for a while, And he came back sometime, it disappeared for a while, I don't know how long, a year or so. And he came back after being hanging around with a load of ballers. And he has this new arrogant attitude. But arrogance is all they've got because they've got no evidence. Because if I have evidence, I don't need to be arrogant because the evidence speaks for itself. I don't need arrogance. I can just be confident in my evidence. So when Nathan asked him, this is for anyone who's new to the situation, when Nathan asked him originally, okay, get me some support, some evidence for this measurement you're saying via parallax to Alpha Centauri, and he went around in circles and come up with wiki stuff about parallax, and then some other thing that's detailing Alpha Centauri, that wasn't parallax measurement to Alpha Centauri, because he doesn't have anything. All he has is an arrogant attitude.
Come on, Brian. I'm not carrying it around in my back pocket.
Yeah, but what anyone else would say, I'd say in that situation, say, okay, just give me a couple of minutes, I'll get it, and I'll come back to you. And Nathan would go, okay, or whatever, okay. Then I'd go and I'd get it, and I'd come back. You know what I mean? I wouldn't keep on going around in circles because I don't have the thing that I said I have.
Because Globers will carry around globe proof in their back pocket.
Nathan, can you go to the blown up image of that picture that shows line of sight in January and line of sight in July? Brian, look at this with me.
Is this in Master?
Yeah. I just took the picture and blew it up. The one where it's got the sun in the middle and the Earth in January and the Earth in July in their model, their pseudo model. Tell me when you
give me a moment. Give me a moment.
Yeah. Maybe Nathan's getting coffee.
Just
10. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say, 10. I love the
go on, dear.
I love the pictures you were sending, 10. And I was saying, I'm not giving the benefit of the doubt. I'm not giving anybody leeway. But do you think if he would have saw those things that you were showing on Master B like I did, not that I needed it for the proof, but he would have understood where his argument was?
He's going to fight.
Conceding?
No, he's going to fight no matter what. These are zombies who die and come back again.
I see it. The 10th. Yeah,
okay,
I see it.
Right.
They're using one AU with either side.
Yeah, okay, so let me give you a commentary, and I want you to respond because you and me know what's going on here, as well as everyone else now. So you see the sun, and then you see one AU, and then one AU between the orbit, so-called Earth around the sun, which is their pseudo model. Then so that's 93 million miles, basically, one AU. Then they got a flat baseline for 93 million miles times twice if you go both ways. Then you see an angle formed from the center of the Earth rather than the surface of the Earth from both sides of the picture. So the equatorial plane, because they need a flat baseline. Then you see the star in question, line of sight in July to the right and line of sight in January to the left. So it's the same star at different times of the year. Then you see a dotted line, okay? And what's that dotted line? Make that triangle a right angle triangle. You see the angle measurement at the top between the sun and the dotted line. And where the sun is at the base, that would be a right angle. And you see that bluish circle, disk, all flat, just like that astronomy site that said, hey, if you want to understand equatorial Mount Telescope, quit envisioning the Earth as a sphere, but imagine it as a disk throughout space, a flat disk. That's what they're showing here.
Well, what they're actually showing is that two observers, one in January, one in July, taking an angle which would have to be like basically just basically 90 degrees or a 0 degree angle to a sunset, and another angle to a star that's appearing in the sky. That's actually what they're showing. If you want, that's in reality that's what they're showing. It's sunset and there's a star starting to show in the sky. So they're taking a 0 degrees to the sun, using that then, which is where the Earth is and the sun is. That's the observer, right, to the GP of the sun, right? That's what that is, right? Using the horizon. And then they're taking an angle up to a star that's starting to appear in the sky because the sun is, because it's sunset. That's what they're actually doing. If that star is even appearing at that point. Because they can't use the sun if the globe Earth is turned away from it. Do you know what I mean? They have to, if you look at this diagram, they can't use the sun in this scenario unless it's at a sunset at both times, which gives them a 0 degrees to the sun's GP. Then they're using the sun's GP, right, along with basically the horizontal between the person at the shore to the sun's GP, and then they're using another angle up to a star that should be appearing within their diagram above the sun at that time of evening. Now, I don't know if I see too many too many stars in the sky at sunset. I don't remember seeing too many stars in the sky at sunset. So whatever star this is, it has to be there above the sunset in January and July.
There's so many things, good point. There's so many things wrong with this because they're trying to prove several things at one time. One is the orbit, the 1AU. But if you're the observer on the Earth, you're not on the surface because the baseline is coming from the equatorial plane from both pictures. And then the GP of the star will be directly over the sun. And there's your 90.
One of the most epitomized, exemplary examples of stupidity, if I'm correct, he said, when asked, where is the observer? And he said, from the sun or on the sun. I would have hung up on him.
Well, we did. And then he said, well, we got something going there. It will happen soon, basically, what he was indicating. Hasn't happened yet. But they drew a picture as if it was already there.
But D-Rose, he only said that because if you listen to what I just said, that's the reason why he said that. Now, it could be just stupidity out of him as well. But if he was to relate that back to reality, then what I said is exactly what it would have to be.
Right. So
which including horizontal baselines.
Yeah, you, truth, and reality backed him in the corner, and he became delirious, dumbfounded, and desperate, and just went.
Well, it said at the bottom
an outrageous claim, which is I think that the observer is at the sun, because that's the only way. That's all he had at that point. Because if he tried to detail it any other way, he'd have to make a claim that someone's taking an angle to the horizon at sunset in 2 times of the year, January and July, and then another angle using that horizontal baseline to the GP point of the sun to get another angle to a star that should be appearing somewhere above sunset. Now, I don't remember seeing any stars above sunset ever. Not saying that they're not there, but I don't think I've ever noticed a star above sunset.
Well, actually, Brian, if you look at the pictures, it's during broad daylight on both sides of the Earth. So it's not even sunset. So it's even worse. But the statement underneath the picture in the article itself says, Parallax enables astronomers to measure the distances of faraway stars by using trigonometry. Well, we know that's not true because the height of the star is not important in celestial navigation. It's the angular relationship. And the citing trigonometry destroys everything for them.
So that would make it flat.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would even come here trying to disrupt the show to present how the Earth can't be a globe. I mean,
that's like hey, John, Brian, just like all trolls do for every show, whether it's the Candace Owens show, whether it's the, Bruce Allen, or whoever show it is, that just to be that agitating, obnoxious opposition that makes no sense, just to be a distraction. That's all it is. But the good end of it that I look at it again, it gives the opportunity for you guys to keep reiterating the facts, displaying it, demonstrating the examples. That way, whoever's listening that's either on his side or on the fence or on our side and just learning, they get to hear it in so many different aspects, the way you guys, express it. So, I mean, that's the good I look at it. Call me optimistic Oscar. I don't care, but that's how I'm looking at it. Because
it's the right angle.
Nobody mentioned the right angle, you dumb fuck.
Well, that would make it flat, Nathan.
Sorry, why did you bring up a flat? With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams. Hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!